It is America time.
Pacific.
That's right. Yeah.
Eastern.
Eastern American time. Whatever. It's in some parts of the world we're either an hour earlier or later. I don't know how the math works out.
Only some parts.
It has messed me up so bad. Normally I'm okay with time, but it has like messed me up like
this
no
one was
other.
Tough. This one hit hard for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's so fucking dumb. It's so fucking dumb.
I've been mildly considering like having 3 different physical clocks on the wall.
Ooh.
One for me in the middle, one for Jeff Bakalar and whoever else is over there, Jason, and one for
real time.
Jeff Gerstmann.
Yeah, that's right. Proper
Rory.
time.
The real time.
Yes, the proper time.
Giant Bomb official time.
And then a tiny clock between the middle and the left that's just for Jeff Grubb.
Aw. Little Jeff Grubb time.
Could we start selling Jeff Grubb watches?
Can we change the name of that show to Grubb Time and do like a Bob Sapp kind of Sap Time thing with it?
I would just like to put a big old mane and a big old beard on a clock and sell that as a plushie.
Okay. All right.
Yes, yes. If we ever go to any type of trade show or convention again, I need at least 2 people to walk up with a crocheted beard and mane and say, "This is my Grubb costume."
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
He's I mean, it's easy. It's easy. The costume dresses itself.
I've only met him in real life once, and Jeff Grubb smelled really nice.
He looks like he does.
That mountain air, you know?
Yeah,
that's
like
mountain
yeah.
time. That's what it is.
Mountain
they made
time.
a candle based on
That's not
him.
a real thing.
They made a candle based on Grubb. It's just called like Grubb Mountain Time.
Yeah, so I don't know the whole time zone thing. I love daylight savings time.
Okay.
Like where we are right now.
Yeah, let's just keep it.
We should just keep it.
What are we doing? I don't understand. Like, there's some
philosophically, I hate the idea of like we have to lie to ourselves about what time it is instead of just like everyone agreeing like, hey, why don't we just start work an hour later and then move our lives an hour later, and keep the numbers the same because the numbers were based on some kind of science instead of just going like, fuck it. I'm gonna tell you it's 12 now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not only does it inconvenience all adults in the US area, but all children that have to go to school earlier or later.
Well, you know what I
and
say.
all pets that have a specific feeding schedule, and now they're like, where the fuck is my food?
Pets and children are the thing here. So it was never a thing for me. It was just like, oh, whatever, we lose an hour, gain an hour, like whatever, I'll get by. And since having kids, like even with a cat, it was just like, oh, the cat will be fine. We'll figure it out.
But they'll be more annoying for a whole hour about where the fuck their food is. Yeah,
that cat was annoying 24/7. But
we've been doing this for over 100 years now, and for 100 years it's been incredibly unpopular. Not one year was like everyone's like, yo, yeah, this daylight savings.
Yeah, was this ever like a good move?
No, they hated it for 100 years more.
But you know, if we didn't change, okay, I don't commute anymore, so whatever. But when I did, and like I was leaving the office and it was pitch black every single night. And it was the most depressing fucking thing in the world.
Yeah.
Because it was that feeling of like, I got to work and it was like the sun was still, maybe not up all the way, but it was like and then I worked inside all day and then it was fucking pitch black dark. It was just depressing. It was just fucking depressing.
I had that job I mentioned last week, working in the Diamond District, and I worked there for about a month and a half because it was so depressing to commute. And it was still dark when I woke up. It was dark when I left my apartment. It was the sun was barely creeping over the horizon as I got out of the path station or the subway station to schlep my ass into this terrible building. And then I was in there all day, came out pitch black again. And I got like super depressed in a month. And my partner was like, I'm begging you to quit. This sucks.
Yeah, so like daylight savings, I feel like saved me a number of in a number of ways, because then it was like, okay, now I get to drive across the Golden Gate Bridge and the sun is still shining and it looks great out here and all this other stuff, and like that.
Like if the only reason we were doing this is for cosmetics, I just don't understand what the fucking point is. Like, why can't? How about we all just agree? Next fucking November, this right before Halloween, we just don't do it. Don't fall back. Don't fall back.
Yeah, I think that's probably the right answer at this point. Like it's hard for me to like accept the logic of lying about time. That is
and it's not like there's a ton of like infrastructure making sure this machine runs, making sure we skip ahead or fall back or whatever. Just do it. There's no reason not to just do it right now.
I'm perfectly open to hearing a lucid, well thought out defense for why this is a thing. I'm happy to change my mind on this. If someone in my 20 plus years of education never once did anyone say like, well, here you go, Backlar. Here's the lesson that you're going to learn today. This is why daylight savings is the thing. No
one's for farmers. I mean, maybe that makes less sense now, but
true.
like,
I feel like
I don't even know if that's true. Yeah, I feel like that's just something we tell ourselves. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's so crazy. Fucking just keep it. Don't fall back.
How are we gonna move forward if we keep falling back? Right? Wow.
Yeah. No. Stop trying to be all
set it an hour forward every year. Until we are awake all night long.
You want the long summer nights, the summer daytime with the daylight? We got it. We're good where we are right now.
You'll immediately eradicate so much seasonal depressive disorders. Just a little bit, not totally eliminate it. You're going to make it a little bit more tolerable for the people that need a little more sunlight. Just let them sleep in a little bit.
I feel like a politician could actually run on this, and I would really have a hard time not voting for them if they were like, "Yo, I'll just fucking destroy daylight savings as an executive order day one."
But that's the thing. Like, you're not destroying it. You're adopting it year round.
Yeah, like let's go. What's the problem?
So like you're actually pro daylight savings is the thing you're saying.
I want to save the. Well, look, I personally don't want to save the daylight. Jeff doesn't, because I don't like the sun very much. But I'm happy to keep it this way, to keep the summer days long. That's fine. And I don't need winter to bring in a 4 p.m. sunset. That to me is psychotic. So let's break even. Let's split the difference here. And if you really do have the compelling argument, and you're like, look, Backlar, I'm a time expert. Call up the dump truck and explain it to me.
If you were a time expert,
like let's figure this out, okay? And you know what time to call.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Please.
Let's just do
707 exit flu.
Yeah. At 3 a.m. we want the Time Lords to call is basically what we're saying.
Oh no, we're gonna get the wrong Time Lords. It's gonna be all these Doctor Who people.
Finally,
I used to be
more
one of
British
those.
accents.
We don't.
Or wibbly wobblies and stuff.
Call from your repurposed cop car. Let us know what's going on. All right. What about video games?
What about
video games are timeless, they say.
What about them?
I think they're good.
They're pretty good.
All right.
There's too much right now, though.
This week seems like a little bit less than last week, but that's, I don't know. I guess GTA 5 came out today, as did the early editions of Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins, I guess. Like I was under the impression it was not out till the end of the week because I was only looking at the PC version.
Likewise.
But I guess they snuck it out on console last night. So I am looking forward to giving that a go and seeing what's up with Chaos.
I bought it. I was hovering over it last night.
I almost bought it last night, and then I realized, because I was like, oh, I should probably this thing is the only way I'm going to be able to play some before the show tomorrow. And then I looked at the time and all this other stuff, and I was like, I'm going to have like 15 minutes. Like, what am I going to? I'm going to get on there and be like, I don't know, I played the intro. Seems so fuck it. Like, so I didn't play any last night, but I am interested in seeing that thing for myself. There's a long, I don't have it in front of me. Square put up a big, long legal document about how you are to stream and not stream that game.
It's out now, though.
Yeah.
But you watch your ass, even though you legally have this thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of, I mean, it's meant for the public. It's not meant for the press, but it reads like the sort of streaming. God, okay, now that I'm talking about this for real, like we probably need to actually talk about it for real. Let me see if I can.
Oh, is it
Streaming
shift it down.
guidelines.
is it one
Shift
of
it
those
down to the news
deals
section.
of you can't show any cutscenes?
Yes, yes, because they have all the console blocking, like auto block stuff for cutscenes in place, and they're like, you shouldn't stream those,
Oh, come
even
on.
if yeah. It's so this reads like this is like a fun thing. So this is not great for the podcast, but this is Square-Enix sorry, let me start over. Square-Enix-games.com/sopfo/streaming-guidelines/
Another political platform I'm going to run on besides eliminating or saving daylight savings time is getting rid of
Yes.
dashes in URLs.
They love
okay.
these dashes over here in these URLs. It's great.
My vote's like wavering now a little bit. I think they might be useful, but go on. How do you feel about QR codes?
QR codes, don't scan every single one you see.
It's a risk, baby.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
Don't
think they're good.
compromise your devices.
I'm back on the pro QR code train.
Okay.
No, why?
Well, it depends where you're scanning the QR code. But
Yeah, I just
They
think
can
they're
be very convenient.
yeah,
Now
they
the
there
phones
actually,
have it
was-
built in.
exactly
there,
right.
there was a drone QR code
Yeah.
that was just up in the air in Austin like
Yep,
2
don't-
days ago
no,
or
yeah,
so.
do it.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like,
I mean,
hey, that's an infosec
it's
issue right there.
it's the same as like calling the fucking good time phone number in the bathroom stall. Like,
Yeah, but it's
you're
not in
gonna
the
fucking-
sky.
You're gonna get what you're
Looking
gonna
legit.
get.
Does Square provide a QR code in this document or the streaming guideline?
Unfortunately, no.
Nice.
But basically, they're just like, you can use all the stuff that's on the website and all this other stuff. The materials expressly exclude sections in the game which restrict screen capture and recording of gameplay / cutscenes. And the second bullet point here is the song "My Way."
What?
No.
Wow.
Is there?
Yes.
Wait, is that like the Limp Bizkit song?
It
It
has to be.
I
Like
mean,
My Way or the Highway?
yeah. I mean, it's either that
Christ.
or the what
Sinatra one.
Sinatra song.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't
it's-
think
it's-
Sinatra found his way into chaos.
No.
Yeah.
Sinatra's in that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sinatra's a summon that
Yeah,
you get later
yeah.
in the game. Yeah.
that'd be actually
Blue
pretty
Eyes
sick.
is back and he's killing chaos.
Just leans on your opponent, smokes a cigarette.
You can post the materials online. You can post in-game images on your blogs or microblogs, such as Twitter.
Ooh, my
Yeah.
microblog.
Legal notices. Please display the following copyright notice when posting or streaming. Copyright Koei Tecmo Games / Square Enix Company Limited, all rights reserved. Character design, Tetsuya Nomura. Logo illustration, copyright 2021 Yoshitaka Amano. All trademarks, registered trademarks, or system names are the property of the respective owners. So they want you to put that block of text onto screenshots, videos. If you're using the built-in console streaming, I believe it will put that on the screen for you from the way this reads. You do not need to add the copyright notice on blogging platforms with space limitations, such as Twitter, which is a very ambiguous thing. And then it gets into just like a bunch of like Jazz Rack, which is the Japanese music rights organization, which is
Oh, Jazz
notoriously
Rack is-
Oh,
fucking.
jazz
cool word.
rack. I thought we were
love it.
talking about Sinatra. Maybe he got
Yeah.
into the jazz rack.
Kind of pull over the Jazz Rack over here. This stuff is like whatever. This stuff is fascinating because this is similar to. Oh, also additional restrictions: Japan only. Please do not use the materials and videos or other content on sites or services that require payment to access them, aside from Nico Nico Premium service.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just this is a fascinating look. If you want to know what it was like to work with Japanese publishers through the 90s, half the games you got came with shit like this. Like, you can only post 10 screenshots and they must have this text on them. Even Lucas wanted us to do that for the what the fuck was for Masters of Terrascasi, the fighting game, the PS1 Star Wars fighting game. Lucas had a bunch of like, hey, can you put copyright notices on all these screenshots? And we were like, absolutely not. And they got over it. But yeah, if you want to know what it's like, what it was like to work with a Japanese publisher, like most of them, especially Square, did this when it came to working with the press and demanding that sort of stuff be edited onto every screenshot. Now, remember, this is 1996, 97, 98, when screenshots were significantly smaller. And so to make that text readable, you were covering a significant portion of the fucking screenshot.
Crazy.
So we just kind of never did it, and it never came back. Like, they never were like, how dare you? We were just like, fuck that. We're not doing that. That's fucking stupid. And so to this day, fuck that. We're not doing that. Fuck. I think, come on.
Yeah, I'm trying to think in like anything I've ever seen, even covering other media, if they've ever insisted on like, here's a whole block of text, you need to include this on any screenshot or any promo image. Normally, it's just like the copyright of the company.
Yeah,
that should suffice.
but I don't know if they are just, if it's because of the contracts with Nomura or how they, you know, like how they all this sort of stuff. If there's something in Nomura's thing where, because this happened a lot with Dragon Quest because of the designer
guy?
because the composer guy with the music obviously being a fucking shit situation in a lot of ways, but like the character design stuff, there was similar credit there, and so there was just a lot of shit around those games, and now to see it on not Dragon Quest but on this thing is wild, and to see it's something that they're trying to like publicly push on people is hilarious. I don't know. A fun throwback, I thought. Anyway, that game is out on PlayStation 5. I think you may need to buy the expensive version.
I bought the $70 version last night, and I think it fired up.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, the demo is out as well if you want a dip into chaos. And when we fired that up on UPF, I was thinking, this is a piece of crap. I'm never going to try this out. Thank God there's a demo. Yep. But then I kept playing the demo, guys.
Yeah. What happened? What happened, Jan?
I was pulled into chaos.
Did your eggs start vibrating?
I went into my fridge behind me. There were no eggs. So that is either to my benefit or not. But I think I really like it now because it is so complicated.
It seems like ironically hilarious in these like story and characters in a way that like is compelling. At least watching that demo and some of that other stuff, I'm like, wow, these characters all seem fucking terrible, but God, I love every minute of this garbage.
And I'm so curious to how it plays in like Japanese, if it's any different, or like tonally it feels like a proper story versus how it is in English, because it just feels like a parody that they're not in on, but it's working almost. Yeah. That they've accidentally walked in on this and it's gold, because like everyone is so serious all the time, and in ways where like how Aloy is very, very talkative while you're playing Horizon, this crew of 3 dudes just like won't shut up, but it's the same lines each time. Like you use the D-pad to like kind of change their behavior on the fly as you're in a battle, and they'll just say the same thing of like, it's time to go, God. Jack, or whatever your name is. Also, the names are just so normal for a Final Fantasy game.
Jed,
Jack,
Jed,
or an Ash.
Ash, right?
Yeah.
Right. Ash.
Right. So what is it though about this? Like, why? Why are you the way you are, Jan?
I mean, we know why I'm the way I am.
But like the job system and on like the different, like the combat looks like it might actually be fun. And I haven't played it, so I'm kind of asking you as someone who like, I feel like I'm in. I feel like I'm gonna at least give this game a shot, if nothing else. Like I'm sold on it because the story stuff seems so fucking shitty. It's almost like, I mean, yeah, like you're right to like, I wonder how it does play in Japan, because in some ways it feels like a throwback to, it's not like the lines are read poorly, like a bad localization, but there's something about it that maybe this big document, like this big throwback fucking copyright document, is all part. It's like all part of it in some sick way about like, this is fucking insane.
Like it plays, and this is like unfortunate because, you know, my muscle memory's caught up in trying to unlearn Horizon and learn and be better at Elden Ring, that you have to like kind of shed all that and to play Stranger of Paradise, because there's kind of 2 parry systems where you can just straight up block with a shield, or you can use your magic meter to absorb something, and then you have the opportunity to throw it back at certain instances. But the job system is interesting because, at least in the demo, and I'm assuming this carries on to the game, you have the fluidity to have these different loadouts or sets for your character that you can switch onto on the fly. Of like, all right, cool, I'm like the sword dude, but now I'm gonna be the angry punchy dude with a sick head.
So you can do that like mid combat. Like that's
Yep.
just a like. Is this just the fucking dress system from 10-2?
That's what I was thinking. Actually, it reminded me of that, but in an actiony way, kind of like Devil May Cry 3, where you could switch from like the weapons, and those were dramatically different.
Right.
Button configurations in terms of like presses and stuff for the timing. But there's something about it where it does feel very like a throwback that I'm kind of into.
Okay.
And like, you know, they have a whole giant skill tree and everything. I'm still not 100% sure on how the ability points or the job points are going to be spread out. But the thing that kind of gets me is that they have the glory kill type of thing, or like the God of War, like instant kill at the end when an enemy is like down to like their last sliver of health. We just smash on circle and you instantly punch or step on them and they turn into blood crystals.
As they do.
Yeah.
It's glorious. I've
seen a lot of people comparing the gameplay to Neo, and it's weird because I did play Neo 1.
I never checked out Neo, so I can't
and
100% speak to that.
When I think about Neo 1, and it's been a long time, so I have to go back and compare, but like this doesn't look anything like a Neo. I mean, obviously Koei Tecmo is on it, and you know, I'm sure, but I don't know. No part of watching this be played made me think like, oh, it's like Neo. So I don't know.
Was there a jump in Neo?
Oh gosh, I don't remember. I think I played way more Neo 2 than Neo 1, and
because I think it's the lack of a jump in Stranger of Paradise that is throwing me off, because I use it so often in Elden Ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I really want to dive all the way into Chaos.
Yeah,
I really need to.
Chaos.
Because
Yeah,
I am under the assumption that these cutscenes felt so like slapped together for the purposes of this demo that I need to see what the actual pacing is like for the story of the game, because it's so odd. If you haven't checked out UPF where we played through the demo, please check it out, because you could see my face maybe turning from disgust to like pure awe. I'm like, okay, all right.
I want to watch that.
Yeah. No, I liked the Neo games because they, you know, it felt like it was like a more accessible, like when people talk about like, oh, what if the FromSoft games were more accessible, like Neo being almost more level based and like here's a hard stop where you're like, okay, all right, I'll go in to do this other thing. Like felt like it was kind of like that, and I appreciated that from those games, but never didn't stick with either of them long enough to finish them. So maybe you slap on this fucking batshit style of storytelling and all the characters and whatever, and maybe that's the thing that'll fucking make it go. I don't know. I can't, not having played it, I cannot quite tell you why I'm so drawn to this game, but everything about watching you play it and everything about seeing the different job stuff and the weird vibro jack off crystals and all this stuff, like, just I want to bro out with these fucking idiots. They look like the biggest dumbasses in the fucking world.
Yeah.
And
I love games that feel a little bit like a B movie, and
Yeah.
like that's like kind of hitting. That's the spot it's hitting for me, and I'm really looking forward to seeing my partner play it because he's a big Final Fantasy dweeb, so he's definitely going to play through it. And I look forward to making fun of these dumbasses with their Jo crystal eggs the whole time.
It's just like
J.O. crystal eggs.
I think maybe 10 or 15 minutes after where we ended playing the demo on UPF, you get to a boss fight, and it's just the most overacted scenes in the world, and then you can finish off the fight by just like punching the dude in the face, and it just, something about it just feels good and comforting, even though I've never been here.
I like that you like it. That's it.
I
Is
don't
it
like
because
that I
they
like
look
it.
like just some fucking dudes from up the street and they are dressed in some normal ass clothes and they're just in this Final Fantasy world punching people in the face and you're just like, yeah, that's what I want to do. That could be me. Fuck summoning this shit. Fuck you. Like,
I think it's probably because this taps into a weird part of my brain that really loves the bouncer.
sure. Okay.
And because this is
Yeah,
also three
there's
dudes.
a bouncer energy to this, I think. Like, yeah.
This is the spiritual successor to the bouncer that I've been dying for since I've been
Finally.
like
Is
13.
one of the jobs is one of the jobs the bouncer? Can you
Two of those three guys
We'll
look like they
see.
could be bouncers.
There's like a
Yeah.
pugilist or like boxing class that's just close.
Yeah.
No donkey punch.
We'll
though.
see. Maybe there's a late game. Maybe you get lucky and there's just straight up the bouncer.
I could only wish.
Hopefully it says it when you select it. No, but
One of
I
the
was asking it
things I'm very curious about how it's implemented in the actual game is there was a part when we were navigating through the menus where it says like, "Hey, do you just want to talk to people that are here?"
It's so bad, dude.
And it's and Bacalar, we literally had to go into 2 different menu items and then a whole list of different people, and
It's like
You
their
cl-
names.
you
Just
select their names.
a name off a menu and then a cutscene fucking loads, but they're all standing in front of the same fountain. It's just like they just load the model in and fucking have the convo and go back. It's just like it's like they were like, oh, do you want an open world? You can walk around and talk to people? Like,
No.
yeah. And then 2/3 of the way through, they're like, actually fucking no. But we wrote all this dialogue, so slap it on a menu.
It's
Oh my God, it's so good.
and I'm assuming
is
that
there
you're
any
gonna get quests
possibility-
from it, right?
Yeah.
Or you'll get
Is
a
there-
bonus.
Is there any possibility that it was just for the demo because they didn't want you running around?
You
the
know,
open
that's possible.
world?
That's possible.
Yeah.
Now that you said it.
Although it would still be really funny if this is just how it
I
is.
kind of want it to stay
It
I
stay
needs
that
to
way.
be this way now. Yes.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I need
Oh,
to
God.
I need to dive all the way in. I need to become
Yes,
acquainted
I'm-
with the Stranger of Paradise.
Yes,
I didn't think we were
I
gonna-
am.
don't
I am
think you
gonna-
said go this way.
Because there's
I need to know. It's a sick need,
yes,
Mm.
but man,
not a
I
lot
need
of
to know.
things have pulled me away from Elden Ring, and not to dive into Elden Ring for like the 20th week in a row, but this just had a weird hold on me, and I can't explain why. Ugh.
Just let it happen.
Yeah.
Let it wash over you.
It does seem like more of a you problem than a chaos problem.
Well, just wait till
but-
Jason gets here, all right, eventually, and I'm sure Jason will share in this sickness because this screams Jason game.
Okay. Good to know.
It vibrates.
It's-
Jason game is probably more like it.
Yeah, the frequency it vibrates at for sure. Yeah, some of y'all played some GhostWire Tokyo. Sounds like we can talk about the first 2 chapters.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Which is about like 6 hours ish. I don't know how much time did you come out of
I
that
don't
with?
know. That the time is all over the place. I guess in the beginning of that game, the first chapter felt like.
Do they set an
15
hour
minutes.
back or go forward?
Nice.
They don't have daylight savings
on,
in
we
Japan.
need to let
Another
that one
reason it is
marinate.
a superior country.
No, they like the first chapter's like, I don't know, 15 minutes. The second chapter's like, I don't know, 6 hours.
Yeah, the first chapter I think was like 45 or an hour long. And then yeah, the second chapter was just like it didn't end. And I was like, when is the point where I get to stop playing this? Because I was getting really tired of the tedium already. And it's like, man, this is the beginning of the game. Like I should be really excited at this point. I just feel like I'm already doing the same things over and over again, or very similar things over and over again, things that just kind of smell like a AAA game. It's got that stink on it that is the bad parts of a AAA game, where it's like time to follow a slow moving guy for some amount of time until they get somewhere, and then
But was that guy a cool ghost?
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
You seem like
All
a
right.
ghost. All right, but so I guess it's best to take a step back and kind of unpack what this game at its core actually is.
Yes.
And what it is and I will use finger quotes as an open world because it does have like a disperse the fog sort of mechanic on the map.
Closed world that will eventually become
Yeah.
open.
Soon to be open world, first person it's sort of a shooter. You have a reticle that you aim through for your various finger weapons. It is primarily that where you are going around to marker based objectives, doing a lot of side missions, whole lot of like collectible side sort of stuff, and it's all wrapped up in this very super strange, not very clear story about everyone in Tokyo sort of just disappearing in a split second, where like I don't know, they just get sort of evaporated. And
Was
they
it
got, like,
the rapture?
raptured.
Do
They
you
got, like,
find
raptured.
shoes and
they do a rapture-esque sort of like thing, and
Yeah, you find
play
piles of clothes and
Yeah,
people's cell
all
phones
bunch of
next to the piles of clothes.
all bunch of piles of clothes, and you play as
Do you see cars with bumper stickers that say, "In case of rapture, this car will be unoccupied"?
No, but if you've
Which
seen that,
is-
have you seen
Oh,
that?
oh yeah.
That's really
Oof.
assumptive.
Damn.
that a
Yeah, I was
word?
gonna say you're
Assumptive?
kind of yeah.
Now it is.
Huh. Okay.
That's really assuming a thing there.
I don't know what I would do if I saw that. Anyway, so and there is a big bad who sort of seems like he's behind all of this, and you play as the one person who during the rapture moment you are somehow possessed by a indifferent demon who then
he's
takes
he's
control.
he's a dead guy. He's not a demon.
Yeah, but he's something special about him, because you are now not a spirit anymore. You are no longer taken with the rest of the rapture
So
people.
when the rapture shit happened, this is what I think was going down. Our boy Akita was like in a car accident or something, or motorcycle accident. So he was like semi unconscious or half dead when the rapture happened. So because he was kind of half dead, he didn't get raptured.
Got it.
And
That's
when that rapture
interesting.
was happening, our guy KK, who might be a cop with a chip on his shoulder,
Could be a cop ghost, a ghost cop.
Ooh.
Just
He's
say,
a
is
ghost
he
cop.
a DJ / guitar player? Because let's go.
Wish he'd be a
But-
little more fun to hang out with if that were the case. Instead, he's just really bossy. But he was floating around. He tried to possess a guy that had not been raptured yet by the fog, because the fog didn't touch him. And he bounced off him. He was like, I can't do that. Here's a half-dead guy. Maybe this will work. So he goes into Akita, and that works. So now he's like kind of half puppeteering, possessing his body. And it's like, well, if I leave, you'll probably die. And this is a mutually beneficial situation. We both, you want to live, and you want to find out if your sister's okay. He's got a sister named Mari who's in the hospital for undisclosed reasons. And I want to get revenge on that motherfucker Hanya, who's doing all this shit. I think he was like investigating him, maybe. Like, it's very vague right now.
So are we like balancing ammo or like finger strength?
So
Yeah.
so that's sort of like the loop, right? You then start off on these sort of marker-based objectives, and you destroy these very cool looking enemies. They all have these like, strange suits with umbrellas, and they walk in a really upsetting kind of way, and that's kind of fun, and it's really beautiful the way you sort of like, you shoot out of your finger. You're like shooting like little wind bullets out of your fingers, and you're doing fun little signs, and all that stuff's real neat, and it looks really cool. And you get more ammo through destroying those enemies. They have their own jerk off crystals that you consume.
need
Okay,
those,
thank you
yeah.
for putting it in a language I can understand. Yes, okay,
Exactly.
perfect.
Oh,
So
I
that-
thought we were saying
now-
Janichoa crystals this whole time.
Oh shit, I read that completely wrong. So
Or Jess
so
O'Brien crystals.
the problem though is that the game just does not control well. The game controls in a very clunky way, so much so that it being first person, and Jess brought this up in our little impression video, and she's completely right, I think, is that this game feels like it should have been a third person sort of jam in the way it kind of controls, and just how much easier the sort of set of mechanics they've outlined for you would have aligned possibly better with that way of controlling your main character. So I do think it makes for a really, really clunky experience. And I spent a half hour tweaking the sensitivities, tweaking like, all these little and I never got to a place. I maybe improved it a little bit, but I never got to a place where it
Yeah.
felt
I
good
was
as a
also-
first person thing needs to feel in terms of that precision and response. It's just not there, which
Yeah,
is
I
a
was
shame.
also fiddling with like, the stick sensitivity and stuff like that, and yeah, I was just like, ugh, it's just not getting there. And also another thing, and I don't think we've really brought this up in the quick look. There's a couple different instances where you have to do these hand gestures to get rid of these seals, these like holy anti-possession seals, and it makes you kind of fart around on the little PlayStation 5
Touchpad
pad,
thing.
the
Yeah.
touchpad. That's not, it doesn't work so good. Like
Oh.
the
You could also do it
gestures,
with a stick, which I found
you
to be
can
a
you
little
can do
better.
it with the stick, but I
Yeah.
was like, hey, they this is their functionality. I'm going to try to do
Yeah.
it the way they wanted it to be
Totally.
and see how it works. It's ass. It's bad. You can't do it. It's
Stuff
like it
always
was
sucks.
not going, and I was just like, I felt crazy that it's like, man, just take it out. It's not working, guys. Like, that sucks.
It's
Mm.
I think like this, story wise aside, like everything looks dope. Like everything
It
looks so
looks really
cool.
pretty.
So pretty.
It's
Yeah.
got
Oh my
such a
God.
unique jam going on. I mean, the pedigree is there. Where like I like Evil Within 2. I really like the first one.
I
And
like the second one more than the first, but go
yeah,
on.
no, that's not uncommon. And I don't know. It's like it seems like it's almost weird enough, but then maybe not weird enough. And then the whole thing together, there's so many elements that are in this game that just feel so needless. Where you sort of like have to destroy these objects that are suspended in air, and they give you more ammo or whatever it is, but it just feels like such a needless task to do.
Although I will
Um,
say that that's one of the most satisfying feeling parts of the game is just breaking those things. Like that
Yeah,
just kind of feels good to
they'll just
do.
have
And sometimes
yeah.
sometimes I'll just do it because it's fun to do and because I'm just like, I'm kind of bored. I'll break these shiny things over here. That gives me a little psychological oomph that I'm looking for that I'm not getting from the combat, which is sad.
So you've
Yeah.
only seen it on PlayStation 5, correct?
Yeah, we're still waiting to play it on
Do
PC.
you think a mouse and keyboard could potentially
I-
solve some
That
of
was my
the
follow-up.
control?
I would
Yeah.
think so. Like I definitely would think so, because I don't understand how that is somehow like an impasse, right? Like how could that
I've
not
definitely
be?
played some
Same.
first-person shooters on PC that were developed for console first in some cases that just like the mouse and keyboard felt like fucking
Yeah.
garbage, but we'll see.
Mm. I think like PC will help. I think especially with aiming, because like there is a weird lock on that they
Yeah, they have a
have with
button
like
for lock on.
with R2, I believe, and it's like a soft lock on though. It kind of corrects you to where the guy is, and it'll
Yeah.
lock on for like a second, and then it won't. Like
It's weird.
I just wanted to like maybe stay locked on because like it feels weird to have a partial soft lock on
In an
happen.
FPS,
It's
that's
just awkward.
interesting. Yeah.
It really is.
like it almost sounds like an extended version, because like Call of Duty will do a little bit of aim correction on
Sure.
there, where when you
Like an
aim down
auto
sights,
assist.
it'll snap
Yeah.
over to a target. But this
Yeah.
sounds a little bit
But
more than
even
that,
there,
but maybe
like,
not enough.
There's
Right.
such a fine degree there, and it
Yeah.
is also it is forgiving in a way that almost feels seamless, right?
Yeah.
This is a completely other monster. It's just this game has like some really cool visual stuff. Like I said, like the enemies are really wild. There is a ton of interesting effects that are scattered throughout the whole thing that feel cool. Like it feels unique, it feels fun. When you get an enemy down to a certain level, you can kind of like extract their core, and you do that with like this really fun finger string like exercise that looks super dope, and all that's really fun. But
Is there any gameplay to that, or is that just like you hit the
no,
button and he
you
makes
just
gang
hold it
signs?
down. It's just a fun thing to watch.
And I
Well-
think it's just to kill them slightly quicker than if you just keep bapping at them, and to save on ammo, because you can just kill them without doing the core extraction, but I think it takes a couple more shots.
Yes.
And I guess that's the pay. I don't know if you get more experience points or something if you do the core extraction, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah,
Not
I
super
think there
sure.
there might be something to that. When you go through your skill upgrade screen, which are not very diverse. They're sort of just like, hey, you want to do that faster? How about that faster? There's stuff like that. There's
You
a
want
couple
more
things,
ammo? Here's more
there's a couple
ammo.
things here and
Do you
there
want to
that, like,
mitigate the slow, boring parts of this game by a slight
Yeah.
degree?
and-
Exactly what it is,
Yeah.
and it's a real big letdown.
yeah, it
Yeah.
kind of sucks. And I would be much more forgiving with that stuff if the other side of the package was much more complete and compelling. But unfortunately,
Also,
it's not. And go ahead.
well, sorry. I also want to like bring this up quickly. I've heard a couple people call this game like an immersive sim, and it's like I'm not feeling that. I don't think that's a correct thing to put on this game. And it's making me kind of second guess, like, what is an immersive sim if this is an immersive
I mean,
sim?
I'm always
Because
throwing up gang signs. We know this.
Yeah, that's immersive.
This will feel like a regular day for you, Jan. So it might be too boring, actually.
I mean, it's immersive in that it's like, wow, it's first person, and I really do feel like I'm on the streets of Shibuya, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And
all that
like,
shit looks amazing. It looks amazing. It looks
Yeah.
great. Looks fantastic. But
Mm.
and this is a shame. I was really and that's not to say, again, I've played a little bit past chapter 2, which was the sort of gate for what we were allowed to show this week. But I will play a little bit more. I do think you get a really thorough understanding of what this game is going to have to offer at about 6 or so hours in. It's a shame.
I would hope.
6 or
I,
so hours.
yeah,
That's
totally.
yeah.
I just man, I saw this game a couple years ago at E3, and I was just like, this game's my shit.
yeah, I
everything
was like
about it.
stoked for it.
See,
Yeah.
for me, it was like that, and then that was like kind of cut with, and it's from the people that brought you the Evil Within. I'm like, oh, okay, well,
No, see, for me,
Forget it.
that was
I
just
like
like,
that, yeah.
keep telling me
that's-
more. What else do you
Yeah.
have to tell me? And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
cool. Seems like there's just maybe more resources here where it looks even better, and like all this stuff's great. And then I don't know. I just don't think it all came together there at the end, and it's a bit of a disappointment.
If you're a fan of just the gameplay loop of like a kind of like by the numbers sort of feeling AAA thing where you follow map markers, you find collectibles, you do that sort of stuff, and you like that kind of, if that's pleasing to you, this is a great game for you, and it's absolutely drop dead gorgeous.
But is that the
And
difference? Because like those games sell tens of millions of copies. Like that's not like you're describing like, hey, this game is going to be great. Like is what that sounds like. But it sounds like the control part of it is a real letdown, and
Yeah.
that's going to get in the way of anyone
Mhm. I
Well-
think
enjoying the map
it's-
marker
it's-
stuff, right?
It's
It's not.
stronger as a like Tokyo tourism simulator, in my opinion. Like I had a lot more
A
enjoyment
very
from
empty, a very
empty.
Yeah.
But
You know-
I got my most enjoyment was looking at all the incredible like signage, all the graphic design they did, all of the cute logos they made, all of the I love like when you go into a video game and like you go into a store and there's all these shitty looking fake products that are
Mhm.
ridiculous looking. Astro Pops, like the stupid, but like all these products look legit and real, and like they put a lot of care into it. Like you can read all of like menus on the wall and stuff like that. That's pretty cool.
But the
So if
actual
you're a-
game part.
Yeah, the game's not good, but if you're a big weeb that wants to practice reading your katakana, go ahead and play this.
Let me tell you about
or
You know what I
Google
noticed?
Images.
better play Yakuza
Yeah.
because it's actually a better game than this.
Jess, did you notice when it rains, there's like lettering?
Yeah, it's the I think it's the kanji for rain. I think it's
Well,
ame.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
But it's just very cool. Like
It's cool.
I thought that was so dope.
There's a
Um,
lot of little cute effects like that. The fog
Yeah.
also has like kanji in it that I can't
Yes.
read. I don't know that one. I would guess it's the word for fog or something, There were other there's also kanji that comes up out of dogs and
The
cats and stuff like
dogs.
that.
You
Yeah.
could pet the dogs.
You can pet and feed the
You
dogs.
could talk to a dog, and then it goes and like digs up cement and finds
Whoa.
money.
That's a strong
How-
dog.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, what's up with that dog? Would you feed that dog?
This is the real power of the
Also-
dog, huh?
nice.
Also,
Jen,
correction
you
from
son of a
earlier.
bitch.
I called our protagonist Akita. That's the dog.
Oh.
Akito is the guy. I'm
Akita
sorry.
is your dog.
I haven't had my
Mm.
energy drink yet
The-
today, so forgive me.
And then there's like there is side stuff too, and I did come across maybe two sort of compelling little narratives there that were about like a lost spirit person that needs to be connected with the afterlife or whatever the fuck their story is. and that was kind of fun. Like I said, like there's enough in this game that it is weird. Like I said, maybe not weird enough for this pedigree, but there's stuff there that is just still kind of fun to see. And I've also seen enough of like the level 2 sort of baddies that come out where you're like, well, that's fucking cool. Like everything, all that shit is very, very well visualized and sort of put together in a really interesting way that I love, just from like, I love creepy, weird shit. But yeah, it's just all together though.
Like, unfortunately, you still have to play the video game, and that's
the thing. Somewhere buried in there is a good game, maybe, you know.
I feel like if the game were 6 hours long, if we were done playing the game at 6 hours and it wasn't like the end of chapter 2, I think if you condense all the things it's doing and take out a lot of the things that it doesn't need to do, like that would be a really cool, really compelling, but unfortunately short game, and people don't want to pay $60 for a 6-hour game, no matter how cool it looks. And I don't. It just feels like there was a core good idea to GhostWire Tokyo that got like stretched very, very thin and got sent through the AAA fire machine to add more stuff to do, more little tasks, more little collectibles, this and that.
They are promoting this thing in a way that this developer, I feel like, never. Oh, maybe they have. I feel like Evil Within got heavy marketing money too.
Yeah, they tried to shove that down people's throats, I think, in a way that it never.
I enjoy both those games. I think this one, I think there is enough of a look about this game that it will not completely bomb. I just think like they've done a lot of work in maybe getting out ahead of that a little bit, just from a strictly like business point of view. But I don't know. I just don't know. It's I'm bummed out for sure.
I'm bummed out too. I didn't want to dislike this.
Bummed out.
I hate to come away from it being like
bummed.
Who knows? Maybe
is that out the end of this? Is that out at the end of this week, or is it next?
That's
it's
the
25th, right?
Yeah, I think it's
okay. So it's still a ways off, a little ways off. All right.
Yeah. So hopefully we get those.
Maybe they'll fix it by then.
We'll be able to check it out on PC as well.
Can you tut in this game?
Huh?
Can you tut?
Like the way JoJo tuts? Is that like, because I watch a lot of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure now, and he was always going like that?
No, like the hand finger dancing.
Oh, I don't know what the fuck that is.
What
is that?
Can you tut for us? I don't know what it is.
All right.
I thought you were like tut.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no.
Well, if you like stylish, cool takes on Japan, might I recommend a great video game, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, which is coming to, well, not current consoles. I guess current consoles by accident. It's PS4 and and PC. I think is that it? It might still not be coming to Xbox, but that is coming out. I've been playing the PS4 version of it on a PlayStation 5. It's the same damn game. Okay. That game came out on PS3. It is that game. They are bringing that game out again, and it has all the DLC, so all the glasses and costumes and announcer packs that they sold like nickel and dimed you for on the PS3. All that stuff's built right in. It's got its fun visual novel style story mode. It's a quality fighting game. I feel like one of the, and I think there are balance changes here that have never been reflected in a home version of the game, because there was an arcade release at some point that maybe wasn't reflected. So, yeah, it's a good game with all those Persona 4 characters you know and love, and some from some other Persona game, then whatever. But no, this was a great game when it came out originally, and these updates are good, and Labris is still a cool character, and all that sort of stuff. And it is, I feel like it's a pretty accessible fighting game in that it was one of the first, if not the first, but I remember it being a big deal at the time, that it had that kind of auto combo. Like if you mash the light attack, it will mash out a combo into a super for you. And it's not always going to be the most optimal way to do damage and all that sort of stuff. Like it's not like a win button or whatever, but it helps you kind of get more out of your character if you're not necessarily familiar with the mechanics. And yeah, I just think it's a great looking game. Still looks good. The menus, and I mean, I have it installed to an SSD, an external, like I have it installed to an SSD on this PlayStation 5. And it loads so goddamn fast. It's just great. Like, because it'll pop up and go like, we're checking your replay data and this and that. It's just like, bing, 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 bing. Like these menus just like disappear to put you into the main menu. And that's really nice. Yeah, so I don't know. It's nice to get an opportunity to play this game again. I haven't played it since it was on like 360. So,
geez, it's been that long?
It's been that long.
Oh.
It's been that long. So it's cool that's coming out. The netcode, I mean, it's not out yet, so I haven't really tried it, but they have already gotten out ahead and said like, hey, we're going to put rollback into this in the summer.
Oh, that's
so it's this weird pre-release acknowledgement of A, the netcode ain't what you want it to be, but B, we're doing the thing. So so there's that.
Why not just hold it off till the summer?
It's a great question.
I mean, I guess it's March
question.
And it's like end of the quarter type of deals.
Yes, that probably is a big part of it. And also, it's a big story focused thing as well for, like it's based on Persona, and I'm sure there will be a number of players of this game that will not want to play it online. It's got like super low, there's a difficulty setting called safety that is below easy. So if you just like the Persona universe and want to enjoy a cool story about the Midnight Channel, you can do that. And
can I fight in the Junes?
I don't know if there's a straight up Junes background for fighting on, but like when you start the story mode, literally like the first thing is the investigation team getting together and the Junes theme plays and you're standing in front of Junes and all that other stuff. And you're like, all right, great. It was weird because that was my ringtone and alarm for a very long time. And when it started playing, I fucking like freaked out. Like, oh shit. And that was a problem, but it's a cool as shit fighting game and Chie's in it. So, I mean, what the fuck? You should probably get it. Jess, you've been playing some Will You Snail. I was looking at this a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And it almost looks like that was like the Impossible game, like the game where the platformer where you're just a box, but it's not quite that. Tell me about Will You Snail.
So Will You Snail is a hard as nails platformer, I guess is what you would call it. It's a bullshit platformer. It knows it's bullshit. It's reveling in its bullshit. And it is convincing me that I like this bullshit. But basically, the gimmick of this game is it's kind of like about as hard as like the later levels of Celeste, like the really end levels of Celeste.
Shit.
So it's very hard.
Okay.
It's very like I want to be the guy-esque. But the gimmick of this game is that there is an AI that's kind of following you around, building these levels and altering these levels for you and actually predicting where you're going to land and what you're going to do. And it will put bullshit traps right in front of you where you're probably statistically algorithmically likely to go. So you have to play in a really tricky, dodgy, erratic way to trick this algorithm and get through these really hard levels that it's purposefully trying to sabotage you throughout. And it's so hard.
That sounds fucking cool as hell, though.
Oh, it's like cool. It's hard. The AI computer is it depends on your sense of humor whether or not you're going to find this AI computer to be obnoxious or like actually kind of funny. He's growing on me over time, honestly. I thought he was really obnoxious to begin with, but like over time I realized like how much thought went into programming this to really respond to exactly what you're doing, how you're dying, what you're dying to. If you die at the beginning, he'll make fun of you specifically for that. If you're dying at the very end, he'll be like, oh, you were so close. What are you doing? Get your head in the game. That's just sad. Like, stuff like that. But it's kind of like a GLaDOS-y type of character. Not as funnily written because who can hold a candle to like Eric Walpole and those people. But I'm sickly enjoying it so far. It came out last week. And I think it's like $16 or something. I think it's on sale. I think it's like 20 usually or something like that. But yeah, if you are jonesing for a super hard, super duper hard platformer that's gonna make you frustrated on purpose, but like you're kind of in on that joke of why are you doing this to yourself, sort of. It's pretty cool. I'd recommend it. I might do a quick look on it actually. I was thinking about it.
Seems neat.
It's cool.
Snails.
Check it
Sounds
out.
like that sounds like a really cool idea.
Let's quick look it. Who wants to guess later on a quick look?
Snails.
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 Snails up. I finished Castlevania Symphony of the Night
Oh, wow.
for the PlayStation 1.
Wow.
Oh, it's been a long time coming.
Oh, about
Yeah.
time.
Better late than never. Yeah.
Yeah, I got back. No, so the Mr. plays PlayStation 1 games now, and it's making progress every single day, and there's still bugs and still games that don't run, but like plenty of games are starting to run. And that was the first game I sat down and said, like, well, this seems like it runs well enough. And I don't think I had played through it since it came out on Xbox Live Arcade, which was a pretty okay version of the game, and had achievements and all that sort of stuff. And so, yeah, it was nice to play it again and go fight in an upside down castle all over again and all that other stuff, and made my way to the credits. And you forget, because that game has been put on such a pedestal, you forget just how fucking awful the English version of that game is. The dialogue, the localization, just like everything about it. Like everyone remembers the intro to the game, but like everything you see after that sucks too, in ways that are like not as like fun to joke about. And like so much of the fucking dialogue is so fucking bad. There's a hack there's like a retranslation mod that someone made for it that I kind of want to see. Because, you know, like reading the comments and some of the details about it, people are like, oh, the story in this game makes sense now, and all this other stuff. Like, I'm kind of curious to see what that is, but that'll have to wait another decade or so. I don't know how, you know, like on my schedule of how often I'll replay Symphony of the Night. I think it's, you know, it's going to be a while.
When was the last time, you think?
It was when it came out. When it came out for Xbox Live Arcade, I think I went through. I'd have to go look, but and make sure I did. But in my head, I remember getting all the achievements in that, which was like full castle completion and all that other dumb shit. I think I did all of them, if not all of them, then close to all of them. But yeah, that game's good, and the notion that this tiny box, like, you know, this big, this very tiny box can play PlayStation 1 games so well is nice. So yeah. And then I don't know, I'm just gonna say, does anyone have anything fun and new to say about Elden Ring? I was gonna say probably not.
I'm starting to dream about this game. Last night I dreamt about it.
Anything good?
No, just like I didn't dream that I was there. It wasn't like a thing like that. I just dreamt I was playing it. I dreamt like it was part of the thing that I was doing. It's at that point now. I just am spending a lot of time with it, and I'm fucking obsessed with. Oh my god, the speedrunners, dude! What is going on?
I watched the 49-minute speed run. There's now a 30-minute.
There's a sub 30, and it's like I see these motherfuckers, and they still have to beat bosses. They can't. They're not just like glitching out. Like they are using
some
exploits for sure to get to the end there. But like, oh my god, that one stomp with the frozen spikes.
Mm-hmm.
Holy like I'm just seeing people destroy like the beast at the. I can't stop watching this shit, and I'm like, I wonder if I'll ever even see this myself. Like, I wonder if I'll ever even be where these people are.
I don't want to like spoil any parts of the game, so I haven't watched any speed runs. But like, speedrunners are so incredible.
I figure it's okay to spoil it because by the time I'm there in 2026, I will have forgotten about it.
Forget about it.
I'm just like, oh my god, I love it. I cannot get enough of that stuff, and I love how. Was that Distortion 2 dude who's like explaining all of the glitches, and there's also this other glitch where like it's sort of pointless but it doesn't really do anything effective. It's this glitch where like if you block and move around in a direction, sort of like stutter a little bit, the game will just like teleport you to a random location. And
Weird.
9 times out of 10, you're just like over water and you just fall to your death. So
Wow.
strange. So strange.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
They'll fix some of that stuff, I'm sure, and so like these early kind of pre-patch speed runs are always fun because they're the most broken. But
Totally.
I assume over time they will.
From what I
fix some of that stuff.
gather, I was reading someone say that From historically does not patch out speedrun exploits just for like, which I think is, if that is true, that's such like a good guy developer
So
thing
cool
to
of
do.
them. Yeah.
But yeah, it's so cool. The world is so very cool. And I love that no matter when I watch someone streaming this or no, I'm always seeing something new. And I cannot believe that.
Yeah, that's the craziest part about that game, I think, is
Yeah.
just how fucking much of it there is. And, it's not so much stuff that's not on the critical path. And like I have that, I think I have that weapon with the ice. I think I have that axe or whatever with the stomp. The ice stomp.
Oh yeah.
But I hadn't used it. I was just like, oh well, I like my flail, or I wasn't spec'd to use it or something like that. And there's definitely like, oh shit, maybe I should go respec and go do this and do this so that I can use that thing because it seems badass. But I don't know. I'm not playing as much of it as I was a week ago at this time. I'm definitely kind of slowly falling away from it, kind of post Godric.
I'm still jonesing for more. I just, after fucking 40, 50 hours, I finally went to go beat Margit. Went fine. First try, no problem. I'm overpowered for Stormveil, obviously. Killed Godric the Grafted the first time.
Nice.
Godric was much
cool.
easier than Margit.
Much easier than Margit. I was very shocked. And now, I'm up to Radahn, and I went, well, this sucks. I'll do something else for 40 more hours and come back to
Can
Radahn.
I suggest going on the most convoluted quest in the world that I had to have 2 YouTube videos up just so I could shoot at a weird blood bird to get
Does it have to do with Blide?
No.
The wolf head guy.
No.
Okay, I'm doing some sort of quest with Blide and like 3 other folks and whole crew. I don't even know why I'm doing it, but it's for a lady, so it's got to be worth it.
Well, it's just
girl worth
probably
fighting
something.
for.
Yeah. It's a neat game, but I think there's a growing part of me, especially after watching, like I made that choice about like, no, I'm going to watch this speed run because I want to see what people are doing to break the game, one. And I just kind of want to see some of the different environments and see what I have to look forward to and all that sort of stuff. And I don't know.
I don't know why I was the most surprised when I came across the snow in this world. I'm sorry if it's a spoiler.
There's snow?
Yeah.
I had the same exact reaction, Jess. I was like,
What?
There's everything. There's everything.
Blood World, fine. 2 different types of swamps, fine. Plains, fine. There's snow?
Yeah. Underground lake galaxy, no problem.
Sure.
No problem. Yeah.
Why
Snow,
not?
just the idea of that. I
I
didn't consider it.
Sorry, everyone.
I do have to say it took me a really long time to kill Margit, and my wife probably watched me fight like 30 times, and she was like screening a show that she's working on, and I was doing it on the living room TV, and she's just like, she keeps looking up and she's like, all I see is you died. She's like, what the fuck are you doing, you grown ass man, what are you doing? And I'm like, no, you're wrong. And I like took my time and explained it, and then she saw me kill Margit and was just like, holy shit, you did it, you're not an idiot.
And she went, that's my man. With tears in her eyes.
This is why I married you. No, it was just super rad to see. Like, I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, I have to take my time. I have to like figure all this stuff out. Don't get me wrong. I've watched a lot of videos on like what to, I just enjoy all that stuff now. I'm taking it all in a really satisfying way. But I'm glad she saw that. I'm also glad she saw it.
It's my job, God damn it.
I just did my job. I hate to change subjects real quick, but if we're at the end of this segment,
we are.
I do need to let everybody know that we have maybe put some good energy into the world, because at 2:45 p.m. Eastern Time, the Senate
Eastern Daylight Time.
Yes, the Senate
Beat Martin.
agreed that they're talking about passing a bipartisan bill to make daylight savings time permanent.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like this comes up every year, and I've
Good
never seen it
political
get
news.
as far as it is right now.
I don't know. It seems like it's okay. The Senate's okay with it. So we are a much larger step closer to this being a reality, I feel like.
If we can reach across the aisle, we can accomplish anything.
And smash the shit out of all these clocks. Oh my God. Wow. Look, sometimes you put out that energy and you pass legislation. Okay?
We'll see if we get there. I don't
Everybody send your spirit bombs to trans people.
But
stop being rude to them.
Right, yeah.
This goes to show there is something about this round of it that like the entire planet is just like, no more of this shit.
Yeah, there's definitely an aspect of, with the way everything's been lately, I think there is a certain amount of fed upness with everything now that like, and people are taking it out on things that they can control, like daylight savings. Like, no, we're gonna. Yeah, we can't fucking fix the fucking other we don't. Our hands are tied in all these other situations, and we're gonna let COVID run rampant all over again. But this daylight savings thing,
take it out.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Oh man, they're gonna, and then there's gonna be people who are like, they're canceling time. There's gonna be these motherfuckers. There's gonna be
scientists that are angry because you're like, okay. Like, this isn't noon meant to be when the sun was at the highest point. Like, sundials are. There's a logic to how this works. You can't just change the numbers, you pricks.
Some piece of shit is going to stare directly down the cannon of a camera lens and just be like, and now they're trying to cancel time. Like some motherfucker.
Yeah, I cannot wait for good old Dr. Fauci to be on camera somewhere. Someone ask him a question about, so how is canceling daylight savings time affecting COVID rates right now?
Yeah.
And then I just can't wait for him.
And he's like, well, people are outside more often and interacting with each other later in the day. And at least they're outside, and hopefully that's helping. But
God, holy shit.
Smart.
Our country was built on being confused about what time it is. I'll be damned if some liberal snowflake is going to change that.
Confusing time is an American tradition. We have the most confusing language in the world, the most confusing unit of measurement in the world.
Most confusing time zones.
These Hollywood lefties would have you believe.
These coastal elites and their
watches. You think the metric system is a good idea? No. Convert to Fahrenheit, motherfucker.
All right, we're going to take a break for some amount of time, and then we'll come back and
cool
talk about
down
the news.
from all these politics.
So funny.
Yeah. Whoa.
How many? Telling a kid, telling my son that there are 5,200 feet in a mile. He's just like, "Fuck you, Dad. Get out of here, dude. You fucking
bullshit." This podcast is brought to you in part by BetterHelp. Is there something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? Is there? Well, maybe BetterHelp is for you. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. And, hey, it's not a crisis line. It's not like self-help. It's professional therapy done securely online. There's a broad range of expertise available, which may not be locally available in your area. And so the service is available for clients worldwide. Wherever you are, you can get linked up with someone who specializes in what you need therapy-wise and, see how it goes. You can log into your account anytime, send a message to your therapist, get timely and thoughtful responses. You can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, so you have to go sit in a waiting room and do all that other kind of traditional therapy stuff, if that's not what you're looking for. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change therapists if needed. It can be more affordable than traditional offline therapy, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. You can visit betterhelp.com/bombcast. That's better HELP, and join the over 2 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they're recruiting additional therapists in all 50 states. So here's a special offer. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/bombcast. Are you selling stuff online? Why not? Why aren't you? I'll tell you why you're not. Because it can be a hassle to set up a storefront and do all that crazy stuff. You know, you're too busy out there trying to make it happen to build a website. Well, hey, look, Shopify is here to make all of that stuff available to you. Easy to set this stuff up, giving you, the entrepreneur, the resources once reserved for big business, so upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere. You can synchronize your online and your in-person sales and stay informed about your business, what you're selling, what's not selling, all that sort of stuff. This is a journey of endless possibility, you know, when you're selling stuff like that. And scaling your business can be tricky. But Shopify is there to grow with you. It's more than just a store. They've got all sorts of details and data and all this other stuff. Shopify powers millions of businesses from first sale to full scale. So whatever you're looking for, if you're looking to integrate into different apps and stuff like that, they have all sorts of channel integrations to help you get your products in front of people. They can integrate with Facebook, Instagram, which is like a Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, and more. Yeah, this is possibility powered by Shopify. Go to shopify.com/bomb, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/bomb right now. Shopify.com/bomb. And we're back, and it's time for the news. Here's breaking news. Breaking news, I bought a purple PlayStation controller.
Oh shit!
Ooh,
What?
That's like GameCube purple.
Pretty.
Yep. That's
Cute.
I heard something.
I heard something too, which is why I bought it.
What did that something come true?
I don't know. I literally just took it out of the box. It just showed up. So
Play it for 40 hours right now.
yeah. But so when I was playing Gran Turismo 7, I was noticing that the triggers kind of felt like they didn't feel good. I was like, this feedback in the triggers does not feel as good as like the rumble trigger stuff in a Forza game and some of the other just, you know, force feedback that you felt on a controller in driving games in the past. It just felt stuttery, clunky, bad, all this other stuff. So I saw a story going around yesterday that this new run of controllers, purple, pink, and blue, as people have done teardowns of them, they have found that there are some slight changes to them that perhaps reinforce those triggers and potentially solve an issue that early controllers may have had around those triggers giving out. And
Interesting.
so my goal now is to so immediately I was like, well, I need to fucking see if that's going to make Gran Turismo feel any better, because like I need to know. So I bought this wondering, hey, will that make the feedback in that game feel any better? Because like I said, there were just reviews and stuff talking about how amazing it was, and I was like, I don't know what fucking game they're playing, because this feels kind of whatever. Like, it doesn't feel. How can you think about the potential for these triggers and how they've been used in different games and all this other stuff? I was like, it just feels like it goes and like slips and slides, or just it didn't feel like a real car. It didn't feel like none of it was evocative of traction on the road or any of that kind of throttle response or any of that sort of stuff that like when you think about it, like a driving game plus that controller, what should it be like? It didn't feel like that to me. It felt bad. So now that led to me saying I have to know.
Interesting. I wonder was it like, I think I remember reading it was like a spring adjustment or so, or like
Yeah.
an enforced spring.
Yeah,
thing?
reinforcing those in such a way that, because I felt all along that I was able to just pull past the resistance, which maybe you're not supposed to do, but it felt like when in a heated gamer moment, you're going to want to pull that fucking trigger fast, and I wonder if doing so in some of these other shooters or some of this other stuff eventually just like wore out that spring or whatever, or made it not as strong as maybe it should be. So I don't know.
It's interesting. I cannot believe what are they charging? What are they
Fucking
charging?
too much. $75 fucking dollars.
$75 fucking dollars.
For a goddamn controller is.
Those are some expensive springs.
Yeah.
Was the purple worth it?
I think it looks. I mean, I think it looks really nice.
What were your choices? What are the new ones coming?
There was a blue and a pink.
Cute ass indigo.
And I didn't much care for the blue. The pink was okay, but not, I don't know, not neon pink enough or whatever. So I went purple.
Okay.
$75 is just a lot.
Yeah, I remember when what was it when the 360 came out and controllers went up $10 along with everything else. There was like, oh, this is goddamn highway motherfucking robbery. And now here we are with a $75 controller. Base level controller, not like this is like, oh, and it also has extra stuff. Like this is the controller.
Yeah,
Almost the bisexual colors. Get one of each.
Yeah,
almost.
Stack them up in whatever order you want.
This pink one's cool.
The pink one's more magenta for my taste. I'd rather have like a lighter. It's not my favorite pink. I like the blue. The blue's cute.
Yeah, the blue's nice.
Sky blue.
I'm not a sky blue. I'm a dark blue.
You're a navy boy.
I guess so. When you're colorblind at some point, you're like, I'm out of my depth even talking about this, because to me, this looks like a nice dark blue.
Okay. Yeah, that's not that far from it, but yeah.
It's an indigo, but it's,
sure
enough.
Give me
It's in the
clear
realm.
controllers, dang it.
Yeah.
No, bring them back.
I had a PS4 clear guy.
A little clear boy?
A little clear boy.
Oh yeah, they did make
that,
some. Yeah.
I want that transparent colored
Telephone?
plastic
Yep.
Macintosh bullshit
Ooh,
back.
yeah.
Bring it back.
That's
Let me see how much
put
dust is inside.
Yeah. I don't believe there are components in here. I need to see them.
My Dreamcast is still in a clear
Oh, that's cool.
case.
That
I moved it over at some point.
So-
Back when
just
you
want
just get
all of
those for like
mine.
$15 or whatever. Now I'm sure it's like, well, we 3D printed this because no one is making it, and as such, they're $75. Everything's $75 now.
I want everything that I own that is made of plastic to have like that transparent colored Macintosh style plastic.
Have you considered going to prison?
They got neon plastic in there.
No, but it's all clear because they don't want you hiding shivs or drugs in it. You want a nice clear TV. Try jail.
Smell a feature.
Yeah.
We tried jail.
Just goes to
Definitely,
jail.
I have seen. I feel like I have seen Smash Brothers running on a fucking jail CRT. Like that, some of them have been, liberated from the penal system and are out on the streets now. So you could probably find one. You look hard enough. Let me get into the news. The developers of What the Dub, the Jackbox-esque write your own joke for a old movie clip video game, are coming back in May, and they have partnered up with the Rifftrax folks to make Rifftrax the game. And this seems like it will kind of do more of the they're promising kind of better Twitch integration and some of the stuff that Jackbox does that What the Dub kind of didn't. Seems like it is more in store, some new modes, some stuff like that. And they've partnered up with Rifftrax, which is Mike Nelson and
Bill Corbett.
The later era Mystery Science Theater that wasn't as good as the good stuff.
Whoa.
It's not Cinematic Titanic the game, unfortunately, but what are you gonna do?
Whoa. Gonna have a fight here.
I just saying the
I'm
last.
a Mike Nelson girl.
That's
Wait, so okay, pretend for a second that I have no idea what any of this
What
stuff
the
is.
fuck?
I
dude?
also
Okay,
don't know
go on.
Bacalart's cool.
So I've heard of Rifftrax
okay.
for the purposes of this conversation. I've heard of Rifftrax.
Sure.
They're on a spaceship. Yeah, right?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
it's after Mystery Science Theater kind of went off the air.
Right.
The people that made it in different incarnations over the years split off into different groups where they just went and did Mystery Science Theater without the pretense of being on a spaceship.
Without
and they
the
did live
alien
shows and
robots
such,
stuff.
and
Yeah.
the less puppetry for sure.
Okay.
And
that
so
and how was that received?
I thought,
Depends.
yeah, I don't
Depends
know.
which iteration.
So
of it. There was
so it was
A lot
there
of
was-
early riff
there was
tracks
film
was
crew. Film crew
right.
was a
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
There was
And that
Cinematic
had a little
Titanic,
bit
which
of
was
stuff around it.
it had a little
Okay.
skit like situation. There was Cinematic Titanic, which was a direct to DVD. You buy the DVDs and play it in your
Got it.
PlayStation 2, which is how I did it. And that was like the older crew for the most part. Mary Jo Pell,
Mhm.
Joel, TV's Frank, those folks, Trace
Yeah,
Beaulieu,
Trace.
those folks, and it was alright. It was alright.
But they
not
stopped
the
in like
best-
2013 or something,
and
and
not the best movies. Like
Yeah.
I think they had some sort of copyright difficulty wrangling the copyrights. So Rifftrax was very clever about this, and this was the later era of the folks that made Mystery Science Theater that took it over when Joel and the older folks left to do other things. I don't know what they went and did, or if it was just like a contract situation because like they got bought out by Comedy Central or Sci-Fi rather from Comedy Central. It was a whole crossover
Sci-Fi.
thing.
Mhm.
Sci-Fi.
The great Sci-Fi.
But
Oxygen or Wi-Fi.
but yeah, the later crew made Rifftrax, and they were very smart about like, oh well, the thing is that we can't get the rights to a lot of these movies, and people want us to make fun of more modern movies. So what they did was what we did with Film in 40s just last week with the Silent
And now,
Hill
what
movie.
is
Go
Film in
check it out.
40?
Film in 40s is like riff tracks, but with people that don't stop to write the jokes ahead of time, so it's not as good.
Yeah, it's not as good.
There's alcohol involved.
There's
But they
alcohol
drink,
involved.
so
No, I've been on like 2 or 3 of them. Yeah.
I did an iRiff once with my friend Bob for the Silent Hill movie that was
iRiff?
scripted. If you want a scripted version, check that out.
I riff.
But an iRiff, that's when people through the Rifftrax website, fans can make their own Rifftrax.
Okay.
And Rifftrax is just a MP3 or what have
it.
you that you sync up to the movie that you own yourself, and it gets around
it.
all the copyright kerfuffling.
and so that's how they did it with
under-
newer movies and all that other
Yeah.
stuff. Which I honestly, the idea of them doing newer, more modern, and in some cases more popular movies was just like so against the whole point of the thing that it was just like,
Yeah.
all right, you have fun, guys. Like I don't want to
There
see
was
that.
there was a lot of movies that they made fun of that I was just like, what's the point? This is like a perfectly cromulent movie. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with this. There's nothing too funny
I
about
mean, at some point
this.
you
It's
run
not
out of like
dated.
iconic, dumb
Absolutely,
sci-fi and
absolutely.
Sandy Frank movies and all the good shit. So
Yeah, you
gotta
gotta
do
make
what you gotta
money.
do.
So whatever. Like, making fun of Independence Day is like, how dare you? That's a great movie. There's nothing wrong with that movie.
Oh, they did.
They also
dear.
they also did live shows where you could physically attend, and it was also broadcast through Shout Factory or one of those things where you can go to
Yeah.
your own local theater, and it was broadcast at that theater. Went to a couple of those. Mileage varied on how good it was. They riffed Birdemic, which of course is a piece of shit. It was really funny to make fun of that thing. But they also, by popular demand, and fans are a little dumb about this, they voted for Starship Troopers. So they riffed Starship Troopers,
People
which
love
is like,
that movie.
yeah, it's a parody already. It's a
already a
satire.
it's like
it's
that-
a comedy
yeah.
movie. You can't make fun of Starship Troopers. So I saw
Weird.
that
So-
because I was like, how are they going to do this? The answer is not
Weird.
great.
My
Um,
question
with
here
lots of those.
for the game. I know it's probably going to go on a scene by scene basis,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to be traxing the whole movie. I just want to sit down and just type stuff or
That's
just
not a
throw some
party
stuff
game.
up.
No one will agree to
Yeah.
do that.
It
think.
sounds like a
really
party to
long
me.
party, or yeah, no, it looks like it will still be scenes. They say they will have over 250 clips, new modes, and also it seems like the Rifftrax integration seems a little sketchy here in a sense too, because like it seems like you will have an option instead of writing your own and then having the text-to-speech voice read it. One of their big selling points is like, also we've written a bunch, so you can just pick one that is written by an expert, a professional, and you're like,
that kinda,
okay,
that kind of like syncs up to like the Jackbox thing that was done, where it's just like if you blank on something, just hit enter. We'll give you a lame one or something.
Yeah, in
So
the
I guess
trailer they
that's where it's
show like a
coming from.
gigantic list that you're choosing from, though. It's not like I couldn't come up with something, so here's one. It's like you're going through and going like, yes, this Amazon joke is very funny. It's like you didn't write it. Like, what's the point? Like, who's voting for that? Like, it's stupid.
Just throw their voices into like an AI generator repeater thingy. They've spoken enough.
We
think the
trained an AI on
voices might
5,000
be-
scripts.
Yeah, I believe I don't know this for sure because I only watched the trailer once, but they may be using those guys' voices for the text to speech stuff, which they didn't do that before. But I'm not
Interesting.
positive on that. So if you want a text to speech version of like not the good crow, I guess you could do that.
Fuck. What the fuck? They sound the same. guys.
Weird.
They don't sound the same at all. Oh my
They
god,
sound almost the same. They sound almost the same.
it's like a bad parrot. Jesus Christ.
Can we agree though that the new one is absolute trash that nobody should
Not interested. Yeah.
Nobody should look at that.
I'm happy for the people that like it. I'm happy for the people that get to make it, and they seem very excited about it and all that sort of stuff. But Jesus, I can't think of a thing I want to watch less.
It's not
than
very
that.
good. It's not good. Not good.
Whew. Mitchell was the last great episode of that show.
I have tried so many times to get through Mitchell. It's not good.
I went and bought the actual just straight up movie Mitchell to watch it. Because I was like,
It's
I know they cut scenes to make it shorter, to make the time of the show, and I want to see the fullness of Joe Don Baker's.
It's all
Life.
references and fat jokes. That's all it is, that riff.
Yeah.
Bad. Get you some Space Mutant in your life. It's a good one.
Yeah, there are some good Mike episodes, I will say, but
So it's about movies.
it's about movies.
Not movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you saying you've never seen an episode?
I've
of
seen
Mr.
the
Science
puppets.
Theater, Jen?
I've seen the people
I've
talk.
I've seen the mystery. I've never tried to say the letters and numbers in a row like that, but I've seen Mystery Science Theater.
Okay. I
I have.
Mm.
I've
Gotta
seen
watch-
I definitely have seen it.
gotta watch
Like a
Space
guy-
Mutiny.
Like a robot who's got like a boomerang on his head. You know,
Y'all
Yeah,
were talking
no,
about
yeah.
crows. I vaguely remember a bird-like thing.
eye tracks
Yeah.
and riff people.
I think one of my least favorite things over the course of this run, what they've done for the culture, is led to more and more people using the term riff to talk about comedy in a serious, non-ironic way. Whereas it felt like even when they would say it on the show, they were kidding, and now then they went and called their thing Rifftrax, and it's like
Yeah, the
I
only
don't
two
know,
riffs I
really?
recognize:
Really?
Rifftrax and Riff from West Side Story.
exactly.
And Riff Raff from the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
adding, yep, Riff Raff, and then Aladdin as well.
Nintendo, they opened a theme park in Japan, and it is coming to the States next year at Universal Studios Hollywood.
You all right?
I need to go.
Oh, you're
I
gonna have
need-
to wait.
I
Unless you're going
know.
to Japan.
Yeah.
Can we get Red Ventures to scoot us on over for a business
Wait,
reason? Come on.
I don't know. Maybe it's 23.
23,
23.
baby.
All right, that's like attainable. That's like a
It's
fathomable year. Like
It's been
It'll
open.
take us that
and-
long to get someone from Red Ventures to return a phone call, and maybe by then we'll be able to fucking make something happen. Who can say?
It's been open in Japan for like a year and a half or something.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's Japan.
Yeah, send us to Japan. That's what
Yeah.
I'm
No,
saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
that seems more affordable.
Definitely.
good.
They've put out a press release saying the immersive land will be a visual spectacle of vibrant colors and architectural ingenuity located within a newly expanded area of the theme park, featuring a groundbreaking ride and interactive areas to be enjoyed by the whole family. Themed shopping and dining will enhance the entire experience. So some of this, I'm sure they will just bring the existing rides and designs from the current theme park over.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there was also talk about doing one, I believe in Florida, and that one
Yeah.
got pushed back. Yeah.
I think that got pushed back.
Yeah. So But yeah, Universal Studios Hollywood looks like they will get that sometime next year. That's very
neat.
exciting. This was
Yeah.
inevitable, but it's nice to see finally seemingly something happening on this front.
Finally, you can be 20 minutes or 10 minutes away from seeing Jurassic Park, Walking Dead, Nintendo, and Shrek.
Yeah.
And a little
close
dash
Shrek?
of Sanrio. You never close Shrek, Jess.
They
just
closed
announced
Shrek in Orlando. They closed Shrek in Orlando. I'm devastated. Okay.
They just announced Puss in Boots 2, all right? So we're back on
wow.
track in the Shrek universe.
Maybe they'll
Shrekiverse.
reskin the Shrek ride to be a more Puss in Boots friendly version of the ride.
The weird thing about Shrek is that like it's
Tell me what the weird thing is about Shrek, Jeff Bacalar.
just that like all
one
those
weird
jokes,
thing.
all the fucking jokes that Shrek makes are so timely in a way that you watch that movie now and you're just like, what the fuck is this fucking guy talking about?
He's the Gex of DreamWorks.
Like there's, and I don't know, maybe it's a Mike Myers thing because I feel like
Yeah.
Austin Powers movies suffer from a very similar thing where it's just like, I mean, they're funny, they're good. I like Austin Powers. I do.
They're
I
of
have
a
no problem.
time.
Yeah, they're of a time, but like, I feel like Shrek maybe is caught up in that same sort of like, decade molasses where it's like, oh, you cannot get out of that time period. That's the weird thing about
Yeah.
Shrek, brought to you by me, Jeff
Great.
Bacalar.
We'll check back in next week for the new weird thing about Shrek. Now you make me want to say, okay, we need to go hack into DreamWorks and steal the project files for Shrek
Again?
and again because I deleted them. I fucked up.
Can't hack that hard.
Because we need to now replace Shrek with Gex. I need to see that version of the
boy.
movie.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We'll get a
people
Dana
used-
Gould text to speech up and running because I'm sure he will not want to do the voice again.
We could reenact it through something like Tower Unite.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
As
we're
we
putting
should.
on a show.
The Giant Bomb players.
People used to tell me I looked like human Shrek.
That's fucked up.
Whoa.
That's
Whoa.
a fucked up thing to say to
Who
a
has
person.
who's told you
Why-
that?
It was like back
Your worst
in like,
enemy?
Is this your wife also? Is she like
no. First
burning your
off-
Elden Ring skills
first
and
off-
now this? What are we doing?
First off, human Shrek ain't so bad. He's not so bad. He's a
mm,
little husky.
He's a square job.
That could also explain why a lot of people constantly are asking me if I've lost weight when in fact, no, I have not. It's just, I think you have a mentally like pudgy projection of me. And every time we see each other in real life, you assume that I've lost weight. I don't know what that is. That's just like a thing that happens.
Mhm.
But for a very long time, I was getting this. Maybe it was when this was out, or was that too early? Yeah, it was 2004. So no. But people used to say, "Hey, that Jeff Bacalar, he doesn't he kind of look like human Shrek a little bit?"
No, he
when
doesn't.
Shrek turns
Okay,
into
so
a
So to
man?
someone-
clarify, you
someone
mean like
linked
the
Someone linked human Shrek because he
In
does like
Shrek
get
2,
temporarily
when Shrek
changed.
transforms into a human.
So okay, so are
Yeah.
they saying you look like that version of Shrek and not like a human incarnation of the Shrek we know as Shrek?
No, dude,
Okay.
not fucking green ogre
Yeah.
Bacalar.
Okay, I was gonna say
fucking-
like you're taking this very well
yeah,
for something
no,
that sounded very fucked up.
you're right. Maybe on its face, I should have gone into
Yeah.
a little more granular depth there. But yes, fucking, it's when, it's when like, doesn't he like eat a pill so he could look like a human with Fiona or some shit? I
Yeah,
don't
he just
remember.
wants to
I
impress
haven't seen
Fiona's
it.
parents because he wants them
Right,
to accept
Right.
him.
It's like they're having Passover or something, and she's like, "Oh, really? I only allow humans in the castle," and that's what they did. So
I'm
it's
looking
it's
at
not so
him,
bad. It's not so bad.
and this guy don't look nothing like you, dude.
I mean, it was a long time ago, so
People are face blind.
I wonder if they're gonna just carry everything over from the Japanese version of Nintendo Land, or if there's anything gonna be, I don't know, different in the U.S. version.
They'll do a Metroid ride because no one in Japan cares about Metroid, but here we love it. You know, like what's the
There'll be different merch. There'll be exclusive Japan only merch to trick the
yeah.
Let
the-
me
the
tell
super
y'all,
fans to make it a big trip.
the Disneyland market for buying specifically popcorn buckets is insane. So it's
It's
just
bonkers.
so it's going to be only wilder for whatever day
there was
one,
like a
week one merch for Nintendo Land.
There was like a
popping up.
5-hour line at Epcot to get a popcorn bucket of Figment, the purple dragon.
Yes,
A dragon no one remembers
limit one
except
per
like
person.
90s kids.
Jeez. I've never been more opposed to going to these types of places in my entire life.
That being said, I'll be there day one if I can.
I want to go. Can I go?
We got to
bring
figure
me-
out like the
go.
media access. We got to figure out that fucking
Yeah, they
way
did
to
do
get
some
there.
limited access before the opening of the Japanese park. So I don't know. Yeah, I wonder if they'll do something. But
Send me on location.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Pointing the camera
Overwatch 2.
down. Sorry.
Yeah. Blizzard put out an Overwatch 2 update. This seems like I don't want to say we called this, but I feel like this is something that I thought was going to happen, and now it is. Overwatch 2, they phrased it as decoupling the PvP content and the PvE experiences. If you remember, Overwatch 2 was going to be like, hey, there's more multiplayer stuff. We're changing to 5v5. We're doing this and that. And also, there's this whole kind of co-op component that we're building exclusively for Overwatch 2. Now they're saying, hey, we're going to split that stuff up because we want to put the PvP stuff into the game sooner rather than having it have to wait forever for this other content to be finished. Overwatch 2 was always kind of a weird product where it was going to just be additive to the existing Overwatch experience anyway. So the whole nature of even calling it Overwatch 2 seems fucking weird. But yeah, so they're gonna they're running a limited beta right now, and they'll open up that beta wider in April. And in that first beta, they are going to show the 5v5 stuff, which they're changing the number of players per match, the new hero, some new maps, new mode called Push, reworking of existing characters, and also a new ping system because Apex changed everything for everyone, so better pings. And I wonder what this will, if they end up putting out all this multiplayer content just into Overwatch, what do they eventually try to sell as Overwatch 2? Does that get renamed to like some kind of in-world name? Overwatch : the fucking boredom conduit. I don't, whatever, like some sci-fi fucking name that they use to justify the story of their PvE thing, and they sell that as an add-on for this. Or it was like Overwatch 2 always just felt like a weird thing, considering
Never felt real.
Yeah.
Not that
and considering it was all meant to bolt on to the existing game in different ways to not split the player base between two games. Of course they can do this because it always kind of was this.
Yeah, I wonder if what lessons they may have learned from seeing Valorant become so huge, if they're gonna incorporate any of that.
I wonder. I don't know. Valorant just always felt like Counter-Strike with abilities to me, whereas Overwatch feels like it's a console game. You can just fucking play it. Overwatch felt very. Obviously it's competitive, right? There's a whole esports scene around it, but it just like it felt like way more approachable to me than certainly Counter-Strike is at first, and also kind of what Valorant ended up immediately being. I wonder, Valorant, that game still super huge, but I cannot think of a game that more quickly disappeared behind the veil of this game is incredibly popular and you don't see a whole lot of talk about it. It is still huge and they are making updates, but it was like the fastest rise of like, we found a player base and they have sectioned themselves off from the rest of society. They're over here doing this now. Fucking leave them alone. Usually it takes time. Like a game becomes like a big mainstream hit for a while, and then its player base kind of eventually ascends off into esports land, where they were just like immediately day one, fuck this, and that is still wild to me.
They recently put out a Filipino character named Neon. That was pretty sick.
Yeah?
I tried it out, and then I'm really bad at the game, so that kind of
it's
reminded me
Valorant
why I stopped checking out Valorant.
Yeah,
but it was cool.
Yeah,
she said a couple of words in Tagalog, and I was like, I understand.
Nice. I always felt like when I was playing, I don't know that they've changed it because they want it to be a game that you can probably play on a wide variety of hardware, so they don't want to make it look like extra flashy or whatever, but when Valorant first came out and we were checking it out, I remember thinking all these effects and abilities, like all the ability effects looked like shit. Like they just looked like such placeholder, like slapped together, like, oh, we'll fix this later. We're going to get this beta out here. But like, it seems like that was all deliberate to make sure that you could play it in, you know, some PC bong somewhere halfway around the world and it would still run at 60 frames a second or whatever. So like, yeah, I don't know. It's
Yeah, my barber's like teenage daughter asked to get like a gaming laptop and like the shittiest laptop just so she could play it with her friends that are also playing on shitty laptops.
Yeah,
insane.
totally.
Yeah.
That's how you do it, right? Is you make a game that can run on fucking garbage hardware and then you fucking esports it up and then question marks and then dollar signs.
Give me the Costco laptop.
Yes. Absolutely. And let me install a bunch of, I don't even know. I was going to say, let me install a bunch of kernel level fucking anti-cheat drivers, but I don't know if that's actually still, if they ever made any serious change there. Sony had a state of play where they made some announcements.
They did, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
we
did.
talked
We
over that.
watched that thing, that
Oh,
20-minute
right.
thing that
Right.
felt like it had some stuff. Chief among them is probably Exoprimal, a new game from Capcom, that appears to be a team-based competitive game involving shooting dinosaurs.
It looks like they're having
If
a
I'm-
crisis with dinosaurs.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
actually, I guess the producer of the Dino Crisis games is on this game as well.
Oh.
So
It's like
add one more.
zombies, but it's dinosaurs instead
yeah.
of zombies. Yeah.
But that was Dino Crisis.
Yes.
Now it's like these are like fast-moving, crazy zillions of dinosaurs on screen at the same time.
Just falling over each
Literally
other.
raining dinosaurs. Literally a portal opening in the
Beaming.
sky and dinosaurs falling out of it, which is a hell
There's
of a
literally
visual.
a weatherman that can predict when these things
Yeah.
happen
Yeah, still not over
meteorologically.
that. Still not over the whole, more wormhole prediction weather forecast thing. Not sure if I get that.
I am perfectly accepting of such a world.
Yeah, I
when
think
that
if you look at
happens.
the trajectory that we're on as a society, right? Like, so they're wearing mech
my
suits and all this other future shit.
Mhm.
And so, it'll be like, what, 6 months or so before we're at a point where you turn on the news every day and like the weatherman's like, yo, the COVID is bad today. So
Strap in.
and you put your fucking mech suit on to go outside and, and stay safe. This is just that with dinosaurs. So this is just, to give it 20 years past that, the meteorologist's job is just going to continue to expand as the world gets fucking worse. So congratulations on Capcom for being able to really extrapolate that and build it into something that looks so striking.
The weather presenter industry thanks you.
Yeah. They're like, oh, these fucking apps are killing us, man. What do we got to do? We're going to start talking about dinosaurs. Yeah. They showed some GhostWire Tokyo, which we talked about. They showed some Stranger Paradise, which obviously is out. They talked about Forspoken, which was delayed. They showed that Turtles collection. They announced that Turtles collection, I guess. That's a multi-platform thing. The Cowabunga collection.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 really good Ninja Turtles games and a bunch of bad ones, and this is a cool collection because it'll be like another way for you to get your hand, like a legal way for you to get your hands on these games. And Digital Clips has done a ton of cool shit in the past around preserving the kind of weird shit that goes on around these games and interviews and all the different stuff they did. They did that Blizzard collection and did a really good job on that with some fun interviews and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that there's a bunch of cool shit around it. But when it comes to actually playing these video games, like they've got the Game Boy games on there. So awesome that it's complete or relatively complete. But most of these games are fucking terrible.
I know.
Very
they're-
hard.
And it took
Aw.
a second too, because when that sort of trailer began rolling, my eyes got real wide, and then they just got a little more closed and more closed, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, well, yeah, like you said, there's a couple really awesome gems in that collection, but yeah, on yet another thing I will own these turtle games on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And fun fact, a certain Drew Scanlon is
It's true.
related to the production of that.
Yeah, he is.
Mm.
Yeah, he did some of that work on that Blizzard collection as well. That was
Yep. He's related
Oh,
to
I didn't know that.
Donatello.
that's right.
I knew it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He's Splinter.
Both are
They,
so
they
polite.
both do machines.
Nice.
Gundam Evolution is a first-person shooter set in the
Hell yeah.
Gundam universe that looked like it had, you know, they're talking about a network test that'll happen sometime this spring. I am excited for this game, and I think a lot of actual Gundam fans are super fucking not.
No.
Aw.
Yes, I saw the reaction of one such Gundam fan being like, to that effect, and saw a little bit more of that than the other. But like, I don't know, I am the one fucking sick fuck that kind of liked that free to play Ghost in the Shell game that came out on PC. It was not a good game, but I sure played way more of it than anyone should have, and it shut down. It's gone now, and that's why I'm excited about Gundam Evolution. I don't know, this seems like it'll be an ability shooter, maybe not entirely unlike an Overwatch or something.
Yeah.
Obviously the Gundams can do things.
Or is like the space stations really big, or like these Gundams smaller? Is everything
That's
just really big?
I think everything
That's what I
looks
was
really
saying.
small, but I
Yeah.
like I don't know. I like the idea of like taking some of the scale out of the Gundams without making them chibi or super deformed.
Throw those guys in there too, though.
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, like that's, you know, that's season 2 of the Battle Pass, right? Is just like now you can spend $40 on super deformed Gundams.
I'll put them all in my pockets.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe there'll be like abilities. Maybe that's like you throw out like a chibi Gundam, like an SD Gundam to guard an area as you're like scooting off to
Aw.
control point
Hell
C
yeah.
or something.
Chibi Gundam Death Scythe.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Just like slashing at people's ankles.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like most Gundam games are bad, so at least this one looks different than a lot of the other bad Gundam games. And so I am hopeful for it. New JoJo's Bizarre Adventure game announced as well. This is
I think it's a
technically
remake of the
this
old
is technically a remake of that old game. Yeah.
Okay. I'm okay with that because I don't know what that old game was.
Yeah.
Where was
No.
that? Where was that old game?
PlayStation
It was
2?
PS3.
2. Oh,
Oh,
3,
okay.
3, 3.
Okay.
3. Yeah. It was
Got it.
probably. You know, it could be 2.
Was it good?
I might be imagining
People like it?
a different game.
I think
Is it
people liked
those? That's a
it.
difficult question. Is it good and did people like it are two different things when we talk about anime games.
Which is why those are the only two questions that'll round out the coverage for me.
Yeah. Was it good? Probably not. Did people like it? Probably more than they should have.
Okay. Okay. That helps.
Some Returnal DLC. I'm sorry, like I guess more of a Returnal patch. It's not something they're going to charge for. They will add co-op to the game, which seems cool. Are you going to go back to Returnal ever again? Go.
Co-op,
I think I
maybe.
will. I think I
I
will.
haven't personally played it, so I think this might be the thing that will get me to play it if it is couch co-op.
Okay.
Because I would like to go through this game with my partner shooting things. That'd be neat.
Yeah, it's a neat game that I feel like I did not
seen a
enjoy
little bit.
enough to play more of. But
Yeah. See my partner play a little bit, and it is, you know, it's cool looking. It seems mysterious and interesting, but it just seems like a little too sloggy for me to have a ton of interest in it. But if it was co-op, that would kind of just sweeten the deal just enough that I'd be like, okay, I want to try this now.
yeah, I think that could change it for a lot of people. I think if the co-op is well executed.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to handle like story progression. Unless
I think
this
it's a
is-
separate area. I
Oh.
don't know that you are necessarily playing through the main game. I'm not 100% positive on that, but
Okay.
I believe it is. I believe there is some kind of separate thing that you're doing. Yeah, I don't know. Like it was an okay event, I guess, as these things go.
Yeah.
Like came away from it
Especially-
going, show me
yeah.
more of the weird dinosaur game.
How much in advance was it announced? Like
A day?
48
Couple days.
hours, maybe.
Okay, a couple days.
That's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine.
I'm
Yeah.
still upset that the thing that looked like a Final Fantasy Tactics game is not on tiles, but someone contextualized it for me and said, it looks like it might be similar to the 13 Sentinels combat, so I might be back in. We'll see.
That was the vibe I
Okay,
got.
good to know.
Only if I get to be like perhaps transported from a schoolyard and talked to death about crystals.
Yeah.
If I can get someone that looks like Eeyore in my party, I'm down.
Oh man.
There's a
Oh.
cat that sounds like Severus Snape. I'm in.
I don't approve of any of this. Nintendo has delayed Advance Wars. Again, I guess they had already delayed it. We actually got a question into the podcast last week saying, "Hey, when do you think Nintendo's going to announce a delay of Advance Wars in response to the ongoing actual war?"
Oh, is that the
And-
reason? Oh my goodness.
Yes, they have.
Mm.
They have said, in light of recent world events, we have made the decision to delay Advance Wars 1 2 Reboot Camp, which was originally scheduled to release on Switch on April 8th. Please stay tuned for updates on a new release date.
Mm.
So no new date announced, which makes sense given the context of why they would choose to delay it. I guess, yes. This is one of those things that I was a little like, oh, I think you could probably get away with putting it out. And I thought about it some more. I was like,
Yeah.
a lot of tanks and a lot of,
Yeah.
Gotta wait
best
for
to
real
just-
wars to have some distance from the fictional ones, and then we're
Yeah.
back to doing it with who cares, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think war games are strange to begin with. Just
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, if you want to have the
yeah.
the larger conversation about like this hobby and how it interacts with.
it's an interesting one. No
Yeah.
one get mad at me. I just think it's interesting.
Yeah, it's
Stop
You can't
it
help
is
it.
what it is.
The internet's
It's-
already mad.
Stop it.
honestly, like all of these things are human nature, right? Like
Yeah.
conflict and then conflict about conflict. So one thing I'm not conflicted about though is the quality of Babylon's Fall.
Oh.
Square, however, seems to be unsure about the quality of Babylon's Fall, and so they have put out a survey on their website. It's not like an email like limited thing. They put out a survey on the website for Babylon's Fall, which I'm sure is getting a ton of views, visits. That says, "Thank you for playing Babylon's Fall. We are running this survey to bring everyone an even better game experience, and would appreciate it if you could answer regarding the graphics in particular." And they're running it. It started on the 13th, and it will run through the end of this week. I took the survey. It is all questions about the visuals. It is all questions about like what do you think about the characters? Are you satisfied? Are you dissatisfied? What do you think about the armor and upgrades? What do you think about and then they get to like, what do you think about the oil painting style? And it's just the 5 check boxes of like totally dissatisfied. No, it's not even totally. I think the most negative one is fairly dissatisfied. There isn't even like this is ass. There's no checkbox. There's no radio button for
This is ass.
this game looks like ass. And also they left some spots for free text. And so I think I wrote in at some point like, hey, the graphics are kind of the least of this game's problems. It does not look good, but honestly, even if it did, the game is still the game. And I wonder now if this is going to lead to like multiple tiers of surveys. Like, all right, thank you for taking the graphics survey. Now we have a question about the gameplay part of it. Why is it so bad? And,
How do you feel about the ghost arms? Do you wish you could see them? Should we name the ghost arms?
Yeah. And I guess like with gameplay, they probably have like data around that. They know when people play, when they stop playing. Like, there's just stuff they can see on the server side that probably gives them some insight into that sort of thing. But I do wonder if they are going to continue to try to take surveys on this. I can't think of a game that like the people that have reviewed it and slapped numbers onto it. It is not doing well over at Metacritic, let's say.
Jeff, was there any part of the survey that talked about the super obtrusive mission complete thing that pops up on the side of the screen and obscures like a good half of it? No,
there was some general questions about some of the UI stuff, but not that not specific.
Those questions specifically need the far end of the negative
Yeah.
options
Yeah.
more than any other part.
I just when it comes to just like a major publisher putting out a full price release and all this other stuff, you know, like what is the worst game gets into a really muddy conversation because it's always some $3 indie game that no one played that is totally broken and it's just like some flipped Unity asset that is on fire, you know, whatever. Like that's. But when you think about like games from major publishers and seasoned developers and all this other stuff and kind of take those caveats into account, I am hard pressed to think of a full price game that is launched like worse than this.
Right.
Like the risk of making a full priced game these days and the budgets involved are such that usually by the time they make it out the door, they are at least okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like Avengers was not a good game, but the single player was good, and you could go like, well, they missed the mark with this live game stuff, but like there's some craft here. This doesn't even feel like it has that on the gameplay side, and just like top to bottom, it's just such a crazy situation. I can't think of
Maybe like Balan Wonderworld or something.
Balan Wonderworld, yeah, but like yeah, I guess like Balan Wonderworld, but like that didn't launch full price. I want to say that was 40.
Maybe it was 40.
I could be wrong.
I don't remember Outriders' launch being muddled. I just remember people thinking the game was like middling. And it launched on Game Pass also,
It launched on Game Pass, which I think it took a lot of the sting out of it. I think like a lot of the talk around Outriders was like, meh, play it on Game Pass. It's all right. You know, there wasn't a lot of other games coming out at that time. But Outriders also, yes, It's a Me points out in chat that like Outriders had a really rough launch. Like the servers and the crossplay were broken. Like there's a ton of bad shit about that game at launch that they couldn't catch a break on for a while. They kept patching it, in some ways making it worse. But they, you know, when they dug out of that hole, that game's okay. I still have it installed. Like there's some part of me that's like, oh, maybe I'll go back and finish Outriders one of these days. It's not gonna fucking happen, but I still have it installed because I bought too many hard drives for these consoles.
Somehow the West will be blamed for Babylon's fall.
Yes, yeah. Somehow there'll be
All
some sort of like Crystal Dynamics pitched in on. You know, they were gonna pitch in, but then they went to go work on Perfect Dark instead, and that's why Babylon's Fall is bad. These Western studios just had to go work on their weird spy shooter, or I don't know something. And people in chat are saying that Balan was 60. So
how much?
Balan Wonderworld, it just seems like a misguided attempt at making a thing. Like with Balan Wonderworld, and I'm here defending Balan Wonderworld. So
yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah, hold on, I gotta hear this.
Hang on a sec.
Balan Wonderworld feels like exactly what they wanted to make. Balan Wonderworld feels like a complete thought from someone who just had a bad thought.
Okay.
Some thoughts,
like
should stay thoughts.
You're saying like it happened, it came out.
Yeah.
It was just bad.
You just go like, all right, yeah, I don't think this game's very good, but you know, that's, hey, they made that thing and it sucks and whatever, sure. But Babylon's Fall feels like an attempt to try to make a popular modern video game in a genre that, you know, like from a developer that is trying to make that type of character action game, all that sort of stuff. Like it feels like you see elements where you're like, oh, this is a developer trying to play to its strengths in a new way by taking a character action game and making it a big online co-op thing. You know, like it's not just that it's bad there, it's bad alone. The combat feels bad. All the things that developer is traditionally good at are wrong too, in a way that the whole thing just seems like a disastrous mess. Balan Wonderworld's not a disaster. Unique. It's just like, it's just hilarious. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Like it's closer to like Stranger of Paradise in some sick way.
That is sick.
Where does Chocobo?
Games I also have installed and occasionally think like, maybe I should go back and finish Balan Wonderworld.
Oh no! When do you have that thought? When is that thought crossing your mind?
I follow a couple of people on Twitter that are Balan Wonderworld apologists, and
they're poisoning
you. How?
And I see that and go like, these people are fucking crazy.
I want to say this behavior describes a sort of digital hoarding where it's like I could delete this game, but then I'll miss its musk.
Right. That's yeah, I don't know. I've gotten better about deleting stuff on current consoles because those drives were so small, but I also bought the expansions for both consoles, so I don't have to do that as much anymore.
Yeah, you can quit whenever you want.
Yeah, and on my PC, I just have one terabyte SSD that I devote. Like that's my game drive, so I have to kind of trim the Steam installs pretty regularly. And I was bad at that, but then that's one of my drives that died, or like the format, like I had to reformat it. And so on the other end of that, I have way fewer games installed on the PC as well.
Square is so odd. I don't know, for the past couple years, especially because like all the hubbub about Chocobo GP and the insane amount of microtransactions that are in a $50 Switch game.
I forget who it was. I can't remember if it was Grub but there was someone who made the point. It might have been Sebmal, or the people that were basically saying. Also, you put this out on the fucking platform that has Mario Kart on it. You put your shit Mario Kart game out and filled it full of bad microtransactions, and also it's happening at the same time that Mario Kart is about to get another year of DLC.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
don't get it.
It's wild.
Babylon's Fall out now.
Yeah, Babylon's Fall is out now. Get it while the servers are hot.
And then triangle strategies popping off on the side. I don't know what's going on here.
Have you stuck with that at all?
It's a lot of story. It is a lot of story that like I'll have on, and then my Switch has fallen asleep twice because the dialogue or the cinematics or whatever are so long, even though I have it on automatic advance. I'm just sitting there like, okay, all right.
What?
I'll be encoding something here and think like, now's a good time to advance a story in triangle strategy. And then like it'll have like a 30-minute encode, and then sometimes the story's still going.
Wow.
Only to have to click A to advance to the next story. That being said, the triangle strategy stuff, it's good. The gameplay is good. The story, it's okay. There's just a lot of it.
That's a lot of yakking.
Yeah, it's weird when you think about like the Switch as a portable system and how you kind of think that like developers would take that into account in terms of the types of games they make and optimizing for potentially short play sessions and stuff like that. And then you see something like triangle strategy.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I mean, I guess you can pause. I guess you can pause mid cutscene and turn it off and get off the bus or whatever. But like,
but then you're gonna lose the story thread or whatever.
Yeah. It's
multiple times I've thought about just re-downloading Into the Breach instead, if that says anything.
Wow. Yeah, that seems like maybe a better approach. That's gonna do it for the news. Why don't we take another break? We'll come back with some emails. How about it?
Sounds good.
All right.
Cool.
How many subscription services do you have just sitting there ticking over every year, every month that you don't even use anymore? Did you know it is totally within your rights as a human being on the planet Earth to cancel your Netflix subscription if you're not using it? I know. But they don't always make it easy. No one does. Very few people do. That's why there's Truebill. Truebill is the new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions that you don't need, don't want, or simply forgot about. And on average, people can save up to $720 per year with Truebill. That's wow. I don't know that I have that many subscriptions, but that's, you know what? I'm sitting here thinking about it. I definitely pay at least $720 per year in subscription style services. Yeah, that adds up. Companies make subscriptions hard to cancel, so Truebill makes it incredibly simple. Link your accounts with Truebill and cancel your unwanted subscriptions in just one tap. And your Truebill concierge is there when you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions, so you don't have to. Truebill has over 2 million users and has helped save those users over $100 million. Like Matthew B, who says, in a matter of seconds, I saved $660 for the year on my DirecTV bill. Yeah, I had one of those. Yeah, DirecTV was a big one for me for a long time. I was like, TV. I wasn't watching it. I was even paying for the baseball package and not watching that. It was a bad time. And canceling it also was a bad time. If Truebill existed back then, man. Whew. Matthew B also saved $120 for the year on his SiriusXM bill and saved $840 a year on car insurance. So these ads are again a good reminder that my SiriusXM bill is coming up for renewal, and I don't commute anymore. I should probably, I don't know. Don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at truebill.com/bomb. Go right now. Truebill.com/bomb. It could save you thousands a year. Truebill.com/bomb. Fortune favors the bold, the strong, the brave. For your business to break out of anything holding you back, you need business checking. As brave as you are, introducing Novo Business Checking. Novo is powerfully simple business checking. And unlike the traditional banking model, Novo has no minimum balances, no transaction limits, and no hidden fees. Instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, Novo is customized to your business to save you time and free up cash flow with seamless integrations to Stripe, Shopify, QuickBooks Online, and more. Sign up for Novo for free and join the community of over 150,000 fearless small businesses who have found the customizable business checking solution that admires their brave. Sign up for your free business checking account right now at novo.co/bombcast. You will get access to over $5,000 in perks and discounts. Go to novo.co/bombcast to sign up for free. novo.co/bombcast. Novo Platform Incorporated is a fintech, not a bank. Banking services provided by Middlesex Federal Savings FA, member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. All right, we're back. And now it's time for emails. Yes. Bombcast@giantbomb.com is the email address for you to send your emails into, for us to read them out of on the internet.
Yeah, just like ovens.
With your permission.
Put those emails in the oven. Get them piping hot. I'm also over here trying to check out this controller and see if it feels any different.
Okay.
So I'm just going to very quickly load into a race and just see how it feels.
Do this.
Okay.
Live
Gran
demo.
Turismo 7 up here. All right, I'll go to Europe, I guess. I don't know.
You ever sometimes, I just did this. You ever sometimes lean to like, as if to peer around the corner of someone's
time.
video feed? Because
time.
I just did that
No.
with
Did it
Jeff
work?
Carson's feed right there. No, it didn't. Sorry to report.
Nuts.
I need to change car. Oh, this goddamn game. Okay. Getting this Mini Cooper. Okay, drive. All right. Yes, start race. I don't know. I don't
Yes,
want to go
start
to a
race.
cafe and talk to people. I want to drive a car.
I could go to a cafe.
I don't want to talk to people though.
I had a lovely
I will
croissant
say-
this morning.
Did you, dude?
So flaky.
What? Anything inside it, or just like a regular
Chocolat.
old? Oh shit, dude!
Damn.
There was this place that was right near our hotel for E3 when we would stay at the Millennium Biltmore. Is that the
Mhm.
name of the place?
Yeah.
The haunted place.
Where the Ghostbusters was.
Exactly, where like every movie has had a scene in. There was a place, like a French bakery around back called like Pachon or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And their flaky ass croissant. Oh my god, dude!
Yo.
I don't even want to know how many calories are in one of those things. It felt like
Too
you were
much
eating
butter.
like 900 calories. It was insane. That shit is so good.
Let me put y'all on something. Anyone who is in the Bay Area Everyone talks a big game like, oh, you got to go to Tartine to go get your croissants. F that. Neighborhood bakehouse in the dog patch. You can say hi to Barber Jan while you're there.
Ooh.
Really?
Yes, he's next door.
Tell him Jan sent you.
Yeah.
And they'll
This
be
feels better.
confused.
This feels a little bit better.
Really?
Yeah. There's a little bit more stiffness in the triggers
Oh,
when.
I'm gonna need a blind test though.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm not going AB or anything.
We need to get down with the stiffness.
But the right trigger on my other controller would feel stuttery and jumpy in a way that just felt like shit. It felt like a broken toy, and now it's maybe realizing because it was a broken toy. So
All
I
right,
don't know.
hey, I'm
It
sold.
Felt stiffer in both triggers, both the brake and the gas. Did not feel like it was jumping. Like when it was trying to rattle, it felt like a more honest rattle instead of like something loose and funky and breaking and something like that. Like, so I don't know. That's
An honest rattle.
nice,
The
honest
best you can hope
rattle.
for. Best you can hope for.
Yeah, you gotta love it. All right, let's get into some emails here. Dave in Sheffield writes in and says, I have a Zoo York hoodie
Hell yeah.
that I got fucking ages ago from my friendly local skate shop. It's a bit tatty, but I still wear it now and again. Jan made a partial comment about Zoo York on UPF a couple weeks ago that made me think I shouldn't wear it anymore. As someone pushing 40 and in the UK, I'm clearly out of the loop. Can you clear up the stigma for me? Peace and love, Dave in Sheffield.
Personally, I
Zoo York is
love
definitely still a thing.
tatty.
Yeah, tatty.
Tatty?
Yeah.
Does tatty
As-
mean like
as-
ratty?
like-
What does it
I
Tatter?
assume
I
it just
think
means ratty.
I think it means
it's in
tattered.
tatters. Yeah.
It's tattered.
mean? Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like a UK, like imagine it in a British accent. It's like, I get it.
Tatty.
It's
yeah,
It's a bit tatty.
I can't believe Zoo York was founded 30 years ago.
No.
Yeah, dude. 93, so 29.
all right. Huh. Yeah, that's.
How
I don't know.
does-
I have a Zoo York T-shirt around here somewhere that I think even says like 25th anniversary or something, or
So
20. Maybe it's
recent.
20th. Maybe it's 20th.
I mean, there are
It's
certain
not that recent.
brands. Is the what was your reasoning for like the dismissal of this brand? Was there something
'Cause, like,
scandalous or just
No.
age?
I think it was just at the time it was one of many skate brands that were super popular at the time.
Yeah.
That, like you could get it at a Zoomies, your local skate shop, a PacSun, perhaps if that is a store that exists near you.
It's all up in the
Yeah.
mall.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
yes.
it's sold out. You don't like that it's
Mall
sold out.
skaters.
If it makes you feel any better, Zoo York is also owned by the parent company Iconics, which owns brands like, wait for it, Ed Hardy.
Oh.
See, I was
Bud.
ready for the Zoo York redemption. But
Yeah.
this is
But now
the
you
op-
are burying it. You are throwing dirt on
I
this
mean,
fucking grave.
It's funny because the current roster of brands and like Zoo York is arguably, I don't know, fucking Massimo is on here.
Oh.
Rockaware. And
Yo.
I guess
Echo.
at some point all that stuff got bought up. But that's
it all got
Rockaware.
sucked
That's.
up.
I feel like Zoo York was that era, right? I mean,
Mhm.
Yeah.
so I had my
Well,
fucking.
What's
Oh,
interesting is
yeah.
like Stussy kind of came back in a very respectable way. I
Stussy's,
feel like
come in waves. Yeah.
comes in
Mm.
waves for sure.
Kids are gonna
Once-
pronounce it Stussy.
once it got out of Target, I feel like people were like, "Oh, this shit's cool again. I'm gonna wear Stussy fucking sandals."
You know
I
what
think
a
I've got, like-
skate brand of the early 2000s, I guess, that I really loved? I absolutely ate up any and everything that was DGK.
Oh, what Dirty Ghetto Kids? Is that what this
I
stands for?
loved
Yeah.
it so hard.
I
I
have a
loved it
DGK
so
shirt.
much.
I have the one with the MLB logo, but instead it's like a barbed wire bat. Yeah,
Oof.
I got that shirt. It's a good
Yeah, we
brand.
didn't before we had like a proper Hot Topic and stuff like that in the mall. This is maybe a little bit before that era, but kind of coming up on that Rockaware, Fubu kind of. There was a place. It was called Mr. Rags,
Sure.
and I think there was another Mr. Rags somewhere down like Stonestown or something. Somewhere
It sounds
down,
familiar. That sounds
somewhere
really
down
familiar.
there. There was another fucking Mr. Rags. And it was that era where you could buy fucking t-shirts with a picture of Bob Barker on them, and then it just says pimp on it.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get this. Yes, of course. Or like or how about the Puma logo, but instead of Puma, it says pimp, and you're like, yes.
Yeah. Why? Of course.
Those
Of
stores
course
have
I'm getting
been
this.
replaced with shitty screen print kiosks that just have
Yeah.
Goku wearing Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
Or if you want to get stuff like that, you go to Spencer's. They got all those.
Spencer's still a thing?
Yeah.
yeah, you know, like
Go check
kids
out
need
Spencer's,
blacklight
they got-
posters.
Yeah, they got, fake little weed stashes. They got bachelorette party, dick
fake little weed
paraphernalia in
stash.
the back. They got
You can't take pictures, though.
ill-advised,
Yeah, like-
ill-advised dildos and vibrators in the back, right
Mhm.
next to all of your anime T-shirt merchandise.
Oh,
like
Okay.
comedy
And-
pills that you buy for old people on their birthday. We're like,
Yeah.
oh, you're
Got it.
turning 30. Here's your over the hill or on, or, whatever. Like all
Over
those
the hill
fucking
pills.
awesome fucking edible
know that.
underwear.
hmm
Yeah.
Well, I knew they dabbled in that kind of kink stuff. I didn't know they actually dabbled in true life fuckables, though. Like, I didn't
There's
know that.
fuckables back
They
there.
have expanded into true life fuckables. They used to not, but I
Mhm.
feel like over the last 10 years, like, look, it's hard to be a Spencer's in this
Oh,
day. It's hard to be
sell
a mall
dildos.
brand.
Like,
and
do it. Yeah, sell them.
Like,
And that's
yes,
like,
sell them. We're gonna fucking start selling dildos any day here. At this
I
point.
mean,
Merchandise.
get
huh?
fucked. The giant bomb slogan.
Buckle up.
Buckle
Buckle
up.
up. Yeah.
Fuckle up with a nice fucking giant bomb
We should.
dildo.
So
The gamer's dong.
when I was a child looking at pornography in
Okay.
Let's
Hustler
unpack.
magazine, they
When
used
we
to
start.
sell, I believe it was Hustler, they sold a dildo that the head of it was Ronald Reagan's head.
Stop it.
Yeah.
And the idea being like, you're going to get fucked by the government, like whatever, the
Right.
fucking,
Oh,
whatever,
I get
Larry
it.
Flint's fucking, however his fucking mind worked at the time.
I don't
What
think
if we
Reagan's
made
head.
those?
I don't
With
think
whose
Reagan's head
head?
is
The bomb.
ergonomic
All
enough.
of everybody's.
Oh, no,
Everybody's,
we're like
yeah.
a Hydra.
No, I don't
No, I
want
mean,
that.
like, what you got to choose. It's
Oh,
not,
okay,
it's not
okay,
like some
Man,
kind of.
fuck. Oh my god. I
don't
Like actually,
Whose-
yeah. No, there's
whose
two,
head?
two at the maximum. There's two heads at the maximum.
Yeah.
I feel like we got to stay classy.
Exactly.
So let me
We're not
just
selling
control
Castlevania
shift-
boomerangs over here.
Right. Control Shift N here for a second. And Ronald Reagan, you say?
Mm-hmm. There's been a couple of those. I think I've seen an Elvis one for some reason.
Oh,
Huh.
yeah, they're just like Pez dispensers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
for your nethers.
Interesting.
Anyway,
I
I
don't know.
don't know. I feel like the
I don't
Ronald
know if I'll sign
Reagan,
off on this one.
like, I just don't know if that's like comfortable. I feel
Yeah,
like
like,
dildos
that's
should be
what-
comfortable,
I
right?
feel like it's too ridged. It's unpleasurable.
I'm not gonna like.
To
Hey,
be-
different people are into different things, but yeah, you're probably right.
It's
I guess.
I think it'd probably be better served at the base rather than the head.
But then you'd have to see him.
Well, depending on like if that's I'm pretty sure there'd be a couple people jazzed to see Ronald Reagan
Down there.
down there. A couple people.
Yeah.
Do I know those
Okay.
people? I don't know.
Well, if that's what we're going for, we should just like make real dolls based on ourselves and just get them out there. I mean, it's just-
Finally.
yeah.
A fun
This is where this all leads.
a
Yeah,
fun
so-
chain of emails that I didn't think I needed to be included in, but good old business Dave included me. It was him talking to the pin people saying, "Hey, you need to make him actually brown." In regards to my pin. So yeah,
Oh,
let's
shit.
just get dolls on the line, baby. Generic
Yeah.
brown number 3.
There you go.
Oh.
There you go. The fuck were we talking about? All right, emails.
I don't know.
well,
sure, yeah.
Spencer's. Go to Spencer's though. It's funny. It's funny back there.
If you have one, don't drive 40 minutes to a
Don't take
Spencer's.
one out.
No, like go to your
No, yeah,
local
don't-
shitty
yeah.
mall. Hit up
Support
Hot
your local
Topic and
shitty
then-
mall.
Hit up Spencer's.
While you
Just
can.
touch one of those little magic balls with the electricity inside. They still
Ooh,
sell those lava lamps. They got those still.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's
Those
crazy.
were
Got
Who-
sick.
lava lamps.
Hit up the
buying-
Tanforan while you can.
Yeah, they
Who
actually have a
goes-
Spencer's.
Yeah.
I just, like, Imagine the person just like, I'm getting in my car, going to the mall and buying a lava lamp. I just don't
I need a
understand
lava
that.
lamp. Where do I go?
I'm trying to
Just
think the
go get
last thing I would have bought at a Spencer's, and it might have been. I believe that was the one place where you could get Lil Jon's Crunk Juice energy drink when it was being sold. I'm-
Last thing I bought at Spencer's was a Doki Doki Literature Club T-shirt.
Okay.
That was recently
got
then.
That was
Yeah.
recently. I was at the mall like 2 months ago. I was like, I'm bored. Let's go to the mall. What's going on here?
Probably have
I always
board
got to go
games
to
that are
Spencer's.
relevant.
Spencer's is too funny not to go into.
Yeah.
And it's still open, unlike I'm sure most of the rest of the stores in a mall these days. Jeez.
Yeah.
Jordan writes in and says, as a follow-up from last week's discussion on playback controls in cutscenes, I pose the following question. Should players be allowed to skip to any point, level, chapter in a game at will? We can skip chapters in a book, rewatch specific scenes in movies, and skip excessive skits in our favorite rap albums.
No one does that the first try. Got to unlock
Yeah,
it. And
yeah,
lots of games have that already.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of chapter select and stuff like that in games, but the idea of just like first time through being able to just like warp around, like,
That's unhinged.
Yeah, I like in like some of the Disney remaster games, like Lion King, you could just let the computer just take over and pop in whenever you want. That'd be neat.
Hitman lets you do it. The Hitman trilogy of games, if you start a level that you haven't like gotten up to in the story, it pops up and says like, hey, we recommend you do this stuff in order, but you can always be like, well, I recommend you shut the fuck up and go in and do it. So I think for certain types of games, that sort of thing will always work, but I think for a lot of games, it does not. Jay
Also,
from
like skipping to a chapter 12 of a book you haven't read. Who in the world would do that?
I guess you could do that in theory,
Yeah,
like,
just
but
psycho. Yeah.
like that's unhinged. That's not
Crazy.
it's not a thing to do.
Sorry, continue.
So I did have a period in my life where I did go into bookstores and just open and read the last page.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Jay from Grass Valley, Oregon writes and says, is ska just new metal for reggae?
Oh, come on.
Oh,
Just come on.
I'm not
Hear
qualified.
him out.
are
That's it. There's
bananas
nothing more
just
in the email,
scissors
but,
for
like,
fruit?
Yeah, like, come
Like-
on. What are we even doing?
Wait.
What
No,
are
let's
we
go
even
back to
doing?
this conversation, Jess. Are banana scissors for fruit? I don't know how the
No.
logic works
I
here.
don't-
There's
look,
there's
logic.
none. There's none
Pointless.
logic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. You can't use a banana. Bananas aren't hard enough for that.
No.
Yeah.
it's
You put two
illogical.
bananas
Yeah, and-
together.
I mean, it's just like, stop trying to figure out a way to make fun of ska, because ska's like,
Scott rules. Fuck the haters.
I think it's sort of like it's really just denying the existence of influence in art, right?
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
specifically trying to say like, oh, it's just advanced, like it's just like whatever fucking broed out reggae or something. Which I don't know.
I also think,
the actual
like-
history is more in depth than that. But
and I think the history is more interesting, and like, I'm pretty sure ska like predates reggae.
Oh.
Yes,
Does
in
it?
fact, it does. And according to this, it does.
Really?
yeah, like was it like the first wave of ska, and then
Yeah, like
reggae kind of
obviously Jamaican based,
and
Okay, here's
Yeah.
a different argument. Is reggae
precursor to rocksteady and reggae.
chopped and screwed ska?
Is what now?
Is reggae chopped and screwed ska?
No,
Chopped and screwed?
reggae. It evolved from it.
What? So is vaporwave chopped and screwed pop music?
It evolved from it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
rock just
Less
popped and
chopped,
screwed
more
blues?
screwed.
Yes.
Everything evolves from everything, right? So like,
Yeah.
and influences everything.
Yeah.
Just like organisms, right? It's like,
Whoa.
Everything's a remix, man.
Whoa. Generation
Everything.
remix left
Life
its
is a
effect.
remix.
Is reggae a sandwich? Good question,
I
chat.
I learned this in Spencer's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mikey Dread is a sandwich artist. Everyone knows this.
You should watch.
Yeah.
You should watch "Pick It Up," the ska documentary.
Ooh.
The ska documentary.
It's not bad. It's maybe a little long, but it's not bad.
Scottery.
Ska documentary.
I wish to
Scottery
reference-
barn.
Just
I
now
wish
I'm
to
just like
reference,
looking around at my
um,
desk for things that will help make this more intelligent. And I guess I did technically find a ska punk comp that
There
a
you go.
band I was in.
That was
on,
within
so,
arm's reach. What?
Yeah, I've been going through and making flax out of all my CDs, and this one was not in a CD database because it's some comp that we paid to be on.
Mm.
34 tracks from bands you've probably never heard of, like
Oh, seems like
Kryptonite
a-
Fix and the Despots.
It's like a lineup of
and the Piss Shivers,
Oh,
Ooh,
and
I
Joey
like that one.
Asthma, and Scalicious, and the Scabs, Skabs.
Of
I'm
course.
gonna look up the piss shivers later.
be careful which window you search them
I
in.
know, I
Yeah,
know.
no, there's a whole.
I'm
there's a
gonna be
whole
careful,
thing.
but I'm gonna look it up.
The
The
Cash
local-
Registers. These are great band names.
Yeah, the local sort of like roster of ska bands, their names are pretty top notch, no matter
I
where
feel
you
like
were
I
in the country.
want to say that this was some fucking Jersey band started this comp actually. So
that sounds like a thing. Ska, it was
Dawson Records in New York is what this claims to be on. I'm sure a very real record label and not just some dude.
ska was like the coasts, man. And I guess
Yeah.
a little bit of Florida too, but yeah.
Florida's a coast. Florida's both coasts.
Florida
It's-
South Coast.
Sure, it's something.
South
It's
Coast.
something.
South Coast.
Florida is an
Doesn't
Elden
work.
Ring area.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that analogy.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
I
Leo
wanted to
from
reference
London.
really quick my
Okay.
favorite tweet about ska, saying it was once described as what plays in a 13-year-old's head when he gets extra mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
If no one's heard that tweet before, now you've heard it, and it's a good
Yeah.
one. Thank you.
There's a yes. I feel yes. The
I
third
cede my
wave of
time.
ska was yes, sure.
There's good ska.
There's
I
good
could-
ska.
I could go for mozzarella sticks.
I had some recently. They're great.
Sticks.
Leo
Oh.
from London writes in and says, Elden Ring's double triumph of critical acclaim and monster sales figures is bound to be influencing other creators and studios. What, if anything, would you like them to learn from From's success, and how would you like to see it influence future game creation, if at all?
I don't
Ugly.
think anyone is going to cut and paste because they will fail.
Someone's gonna
Um,
try.
I
People
think
tried to make Souls likes for
Yeah, and
like
they're-
like Neo is Souls like in a way. There's plenty of games that have tried to do it. Like what if we
Right.
made a sci-fi one? Like that's what
I
was that
think
game
there's
called?
Oh, the
Anyway.
robot
what,
one.
Yeah.
what are you thinking of?
That one was neat. You
Which
could
one
cut
was
off
that? What was it
specific
called?
components. I forget which one that was.
I forget the fuck. it
The
was called, but-
Surge.
Surge.
I don't remember that. I
Made a
think
second
like
one.
I think the lesson that maybe in the timing of it all, and I think like the big kind of takeaway was like, hey, maybe we don't have to hold hands so much.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a theme that we'll get.
I don't know if they're gonna
extracted.
like. That's the lesson I'd like them to take away, but will it be the one they take
No.
away?
There's
I
no way
don't
to
know.
know, Jess. There's just
don't
no
I,
think
I don't
so.
think so. Like what we're really talking
so.
about here is can studios, can developers trust their players to figure it out? And I think the answer time and time again has been proven no when you get
No.
above a certain size of player base. And it's crazy in a lot of ways. I think that Elden Ring has sold like, what is it, 20 million, like so whatever it's selling. Like
Yeah.
it's wild how well it's doing when you think about what that game really is, how it starts, how easy it is to miss the tutorial, all this sort of stuff. Like such an unsuspecting crowd of people is being like, I've had tons of people like Backlar, you were saying that you had a similar situation where people that probably shouldn't be playing a game like that are asking questions about it, like, hey, you heard of this Elden Ring thing? Everyone's talking about it. I was thinking about checking it out. Like, it's so fucking steep. But at the same time, if you were to dedicate yourself to figuring it out, it's not insurmountable.
No.
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 You just have to
No.
dedicate, like it's a
100%.
time commitment to learning it and figuring it out and
It's
being
so-
okay with that ramp of that insane ramp that no other game, no other genre, no other developer, whatever you want to call it, like is doing these days.
It's selling so well because of the community aspect of it. It's because one friend is like, yo, we need to play this together and you need to see just what the fuck this. I think that's why it's selling. So I think you can exponentially identify why this is happening, because you are getting that, like, it's that contagious sort of thing
It's
where, like,
very mimetic. There's been a lot of positive word of mouth.
yeah,
And incredible
people-
amounts of clips of crazy
Yeah.
shit happening.
Totally.
So that is definitely
Everyone wants a
working
piece.
in its favor. But in regards to like that style of non-tutorialization and stuff like that, no forced waypoints and markers and stuff like that on your map, I have a hard time seeing other AAAs at least emulate that, because it is so ingrained right now to hold the player's hand in this way, because so much time, effort, and money gets put into AAA games that it would be a shame if people didn't know where to go, didn't see this big important thing, didn't go to this side quest.
Sure.
So like I understand the mighty urge to lead the player around like that, and I think it's going to be really hard to back away from that design tendency.
And I don't know that I literally don't know, but I don't know if the wider, more mainstream player base would actually want that in a grand scale across a lot of different games. You know, like there's a certain aspect of you're just like especially I think you get to an older audience, which, you know, like people aren't stopping playing games generally speaking. Like the average age of game players has been going up for some time now. And as those people don't have the kind of time to knock around in Elden Ring for 80 hours in the week of release, like, you know, but those players can definitely come back to a game and look at a map and go, oh, right, that's what I was doing. And they can be led around by the nose and see the thrill ride and finish it. I think there's been a push from developers at that, making games at that scale, where they look at achievement totals and trophies and all this other stuff and go like, man, fucking 40% of our players aren't even getting to fucking halfway through the game. What can we do to make sure that people actually see the cool shit we made? I totally get why they should do that, and I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing.
I just think it's funny that, like, you know, retention is so low for so many games, which is not the part I find funny, but I think it's funny that like games keep getting longer and longer and longer, and yet we're still shocked, like, how come retention's so low? It's like, well, if you make an 80-hour game, it's going to be 80 times as hard, at least, to keep somebody playing for that long. That's like a bonkers long amount of time. Like, I want shorter games made by fewer people that are more expensive, and I'm not kidding.
And also, like, you know, Elden Ring is going to go on to be a huge sales success and all this other stuff. But then you're starting to see like the interviews with Miyazaki and some other stuff around the edges that imply that making this game was not a fucking cakewalk.
No,
and that's what you get when you make a game as big as that game is, where none of it is like, here's this quest again, but different. You know, like with everything being this like pretty one-off thing in that game. It's an anomaly, like no other studio would approve that from a budgetary standpoint, all this other stuff. Like there's so many reasons why games are not made like that, and you could argue they should be, but again, for like the vast majority of players, I'm not sure that it actually needs to be. You need games like Elden Ring, and I think we need to see, I would love to see more games trust their players. To me, that's the thing I keep coming back to, is just like games don't trust their players. It's like, here's this overwrought long tutorial, and they're going to remind you of this stuff every 5 minutes, because those games get so systems heavy and so mechanics heavy that they have to be like, oh, by the way, we noticed you haven't used the grappling hook for the last 5 hours, and here's a quest that requires it. So we're going to pop up this thing that says like, here's how you use the grappling hook, because you don't fucking remember. And they're right. I don't fucking remember.
Yeah.
And that's
because you've
fine.
given me too much fucking shit to do anyway. It's like, this is, you know, bloat. A lot of it comes down to
in
bloat.
some cases, for sure.
But it's to justify the $60 price tag, and that's why we have to have games that do have a lot of bloat and seem to be as big and vast as Elden Ring actually truly is. Which is, like, generally speaking, unsustainable to make developers make a game this big and dense. It's not reasonable or realistic.
When they do, they make it a live game that they can support with add-on content and microtransactions and additional.
This is definitely,
I'll pay for those developers to keep making more games.
I
think that's another good way to tackle that problem. It's not necessarily bad on its face.
Yeah, but this is like such a diamond in the rough situation. Like, this is a crazy endeavor. Like, this is a unicorn of a game. I think that's one of the reasons I'm freaking out so hard about Elden Ring, is because, like, you don't get to see this ever happen because of how unsustainable and ridiculous it is to make a game just like this.
I was going to say on like the whole bit of service games, I'm counting down the days until a Genshin Impact like game pops out that is heavily inspired by Elden Ring, where you can just get your gacha anime people but still fight your weird monstrosities of 20-foot tall dudes. I need this. Let me get my 5-star whoever to fight the guy with 5 heads, and he cuts off one of his heads and starts breathing fire.
You're like you're asking the gambling people to make better gambling for you.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Dangerous.
No, I get it.
Dangerous.
I get it.
I think the most reasonable thing that people are like developers are going to walk away from with this, the most attainable thing is we're just going to see a big uptick in games that look like Elden Ring that are medievally looking in general. That's what
I
I
don't
think
know
is
if
the
I
most
agree
like
with that.
Yeah,
I
there's
think that's
already a
probably
lot
what's
of
going to
those,
happen.
and
I don't know.
I don't know. Like Elden Ring looks good. It's not. I feel like Elden Ring looks great artistically and doesn't always look amazing technically.
No, yeah, but I feel like
Um,
they're gonna lean into that like kind of medieval
yeah.
aesthetic is what I'm talking about. I think people are gonna make
Give me
more
more
games that kind of
horses.
lookish
I
and more
I
horsey
hope
games.
like
Horse with a double jump. If we're
yeah.
putting out games with horses, put a double jump on that horse.
Red Dead
or
Redemption
fucking
2 would have been game
outta
of the
here.
year
Double jump.
if my horse had a double jump.
Double dump.
double butt. I do think the takeaway is going to be the sort of like splitting the difference of overly hand holding and inaccessibility, right? Like I just hope there's some sort of balance there. When you look at like one end of the spectrum being this and the other end of the spectrum being, you know, any old open world map barf game.
I think about Destiny a lot.
I
Sorry,
don't.
you weren't finished. You weren't finished. Go
No,
ahead.
here's the wildest thing, right? What percentage of people on Steam? Okay, and just so you know, there's currently
40% have beat Margit.
You think 40? What do you think?
It is
Jan?
around that number, yeah.
Jan.
Or it might be higher now.
The other weird stat
Don't
that I've
scream,
seen with
don't
that.
scream it out loud. Don't
Well,
look it up.
The other similar stat
Don't
I've seen
stall.
to that is that I think, or people have said or noticed that there are more people that beat Margit than have actually gone on to beat Godfrey. Godric
That makes sense.
afterwards.
Marge is like the first one people run into, right?
Yeah, but then
It's the
they'll
first one I heard.
completely like dip out of there and
Yeah.
continue on.
Anyway, what do you think it is?
I think let's say 35.
Jess?
No, it's higher than that probably.
Beating Margit.
Yeah.
28.
It's 70.7%.
What? It's
So I think
amazing.
when I looked, I think Godric was 40 last night. And last time
Godric
I
is
looked
now 61.5%.
holy shit, really?
That is
Yo!
what I'm. That is insane.
So
That is
I was going to bring that up
retention.
because like that's like we talk about these games as if they're totally inaccessible, and a lot of people are going to bang their heads against them and bounce off. But like
7
those
out
are
of
not
10 are
easy
fucking
fucking
beating
fights.
Margit. Yeah.
yeah, like those are like I feel like, and I as someone who has not finished the fucking game, but I do feel comfortable saying if you beat those two fights, I'm sure you can play the rest of that game no fucking problem.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That's incredible. That's a huge number.
It's unbelievable. Like when I saw this is unbelievable. But yeah, like that to me that says everything you need to know about like I guess, you know, the conversation about it being an anomaly and sort of this being the perfect package. I do think there's something to be said that Elden Ring works in an open world way in a way that all the other From games kind of never really worked, right? I think there's something unique about a From game in the open world style of this that is like overflowing into the mainstream in a way that the other ones maybe didn't quite crack.
Yeah, because
right?
I think part of that is like you could be a complete beginner to like a From game and see that you could just ride your horse to the opposite side of the map and get a good weapon or get like a good summon and be kind of better equipped in the opening areas. Like says a lot for
also
folks
think-
to hop on. Yeah.
I also think that this game has something that a lot of games do not have anymore and was way more prevalent in like the 90s and even the 80s. Maidens, but
Fingers.
mystique.
Ugh.
It's mysterious. Like
Yeah.
when's the last time you played a game and like you're like, I want to talk about this
Fez,
with a friend?
probably.
to
Yeah,
see have they
Fez.
seen this shit before? Like there is this level of intrigue and mystery to this game that is really special for this genre that you don't see anymore. It's not like, you know, I remember like when Ocarina of Time was like hitting the internet being like, here's how to get the Triforce, and it's all these like lies about how to actually get the Triforce. It reminds me of that sort of stuff.
So the thing I was going to say is Destiny actually has that mystique.
Oh yeah?
And they have been, I mean, this just happened again. They just did it again. But the thing that they do with Destiny is they hide those encounters and that design in the raids. And so they make it this end game sort of thing. Like you can clumsily fucking slop your way through the vast majority of Destiny and shoot stuff, and it's a good time, and you're like fucking whatever. But it's not like challenging. You can make it challenging if you go raise difficulty and do other stuff. But like by and large, you can just fucking go shoot shit and fuck whatever. Podcast game it out, like whatever. But you get to those raids, and then it is a precise, very tightly designed set of encounters that require communication. Like the mechanics are obfuscated in a way that you are like having to talk to your other players because everyone has to be doing different things at different times, and they don't help you. There's no arrow generally. They're not like pointing you like, hey, here's the thing you need to care about. It's more like you run into a fight, and then suddenly you see this status effect hit you and you don't know why, and then your entire team is dead, and you spend like fucking 45 minutes going like, why do we keep dying after 3 minutes? What the fuck has to change? What do we need to do? And so a lot of people just look that shit up and get past that part the same way a lot of people look up like, oh, where do I go get the jellyfish to fucking solve this problem?
Yeah.
But you go in and do those things blind, which the very first Destiny 1 raid, the Vault of Glass, I think we tried to do mostly blind. And then that last one we did, I don't know, a year and a half ago, whatever it was. It's fucked. But like there was nothing else like it in a way, because it required such specificity in how you were playing and all, beyond just like, yo, I can point the guns good. Like that was almost the least important part of those things because of how those encounters were designed. And that felt right in a weird, but also it was this situation where you're like, man, the best and most custom crafted, craziest parts of this game are hidden behind dozens of hours of gameplay. Like most players will never, and you have to play as a 6-person group, and you have to communicate well. So the vast majority of players would never get to experience that because of how many hoops you have to jump through to make that fucking happen. And that to me was always crazy.
Yeah, but I think there's a bit of like a difference, between that and Elden Ring, in that you can just go there and find that thing and try that thing. There isn't a barrier. But there's still jillions of secrets. You can go through this whole game not realizing like that these big weird Grim Reaper looking statues point you to catacombs if you investigate them and follow the little trail they lead. You can just like look at them and be like, what's this? Forget to interact with them, not be interested in them, and you'll miss like tons of catacombs unless you just stumble into them. Like all these things are there, and the only thing preventing you from doing it or seeing it or experiencing it is just your observational skills and your own personal curiosity about it. And like that's the only barrier to finding those things. And I think that's like a really special kind of intrigue that isn't blocked off by anything, but it's still there. It's still mysterious. It's so cool. I love Elden Ring.
Sometimes the rewards for that, or just like the rewards for being curious are super fun. Like that chest near the beginning of the game that you find, and it's just like, oh, by the way, we're teleporting you someplace totally fucked, and you're like, oh, god damn it,
great.
that's
I love that.
And like maybe you'll do these catacombs, and you'll get like you'll fight this bullshit boss, and you'll get an item that you can't even fucking use. But just finding that area, finding that boss, beating that boss, that's still like squeaking the serotonin out of your brain just doing that by itself. Even though you got something you can't even fucking use. Like, I feel like a lot of other games, you'd be like, that's bullshit. I did all that stuff, and I got something it's not even for me. Why did I do this? Like, for some reason, that's not happening in Elden Ring. It's like a miracle.
And you can respec, it's the beautiful thing about it is like there's definitely an aspect of just like, oh, I got this item, and now I really want to use it, and I'm gonna go play for another 10 hours to grind out enough faith to fucking use this thing, and or just straight up go respec for real. No, totally. Grind faith. Don't grind an int, actually. That's probably what you want to do.
Yeah.
All about the Dex.
Dex is
if
good
I
as
play
well.
it again, I'm specking faith like nobody's business, though. There's too much cool shit happening over there.
Yeah. All right.
These churches, they had it right, huh?
Turns out.
That's what this is. That's what this game's trying to say.
Propaganda.
I don't know, I don't know. I feel like every time there's a church, it's just full of the fucking worst, evilest fucking creatures and all this other stuff. I feel like it's sending a
What?
There's a
Seeds.
turtle in one of them.
Seeds.
Yeah,
That turtle's all right.
Good turtle. Tommy from Denver writes in, says, y'all remember Sega Channel?
Yeah.
No.
Kind
I
of.
will never
It was in
forget
hotels. Yeah.
no, it was a cable thing. You got it over your cable. You get over your
No,
cable
I know.
system.
I just
Yeah.
remember seeing
Oh.
it in hotels a bunch. Yeah.
I will never forget the day I came home from school and opened the garage door to see the Sega Channel box on an orange chair in the middle of the garage with the Sonic the Hedgehog Sega Channel t-shirt hanging above it. What a great thing that was. It was basically like Game Pass before Game Pass ever existed. Do you think Sega Channel actually had any sort of influence on modern streaming services for gaming, or is it just something that was way ahead of its time that everyone has forgotten about? Sega Channel was fucking weird, but it came so late in the Genesis life cycle that it was like kind of pointless, because I feel like I don't know. I had played all those games already, I think, at that point. But like basically it was a cartridge you plugged into your Genesis and you screwed a coax cable into it, and it could download games over your cable service. And
What?
so you would turn it on and it would show a menu of available games, and then monthly the menu would change out.
What year was this?
94?
4-ish,
95,
yeah.
I
Like the
think.
PlayStation came out in
Wow.
late 95, and this was like super, like
Yes.
to the point where you were like, why is anyone playing Genesis games anymore? But yeah, 94, 95, probably somewhere in there.
That's
Yes,
crazy.
it launched in December of 94 in
Yeah.
North America.
So short-lived, because like the Saturn was going to come out any day, and you know, like all that sort of stuff. Or the Saturn was already out in 94, but
Dang, it just has a
it's,
straight up coax on top. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, coax is a big pipe. I mean,
yeah, and
don't-
Genesis games are not that big in the grand scheme of things. They were not set up to really do full-on cable modem stuff. Well, they're pretty close. I feel like I got my cable modem in 96.
I think this is just a, like you said, a really forward-thinking kind of thing that is probably more technically impressive than anything else.
Yeah. The weirdest part about it for me was, so basically like there was RAM in that thing, and it would download the game into the cartridge's RAM. And I think when you turned it off, it would just go away and you'd have to re-download it again.
Really?
But there were Genesis games that were bigger than the RAM on the Sega Channel cartridge. And one of those was Mortal Kombat 3. And so what they did is they had two separate entries on the menu, and it was like A and B, and they each had different characters.
Oh,
Ah.
wow.
So it was like half the roster was in one game and
That's
half the
weird.
roster was in the other.
Oh
It was
my gosh.
insane.
Wow. What a weird thing.
Yeah, a friend of mine got it, and so there was a period in my life where I was between jobs. It was right before, not too long before I started at GameSpot, that a friend of mine got his job in radio, and he was doing a morning show, and so he would do his morning show, and he would get off work at like noon or something like that, and he would go back to his apartment, and so I would just like meet him there on like a couple of days a week or something. And since he got off work at like noon and I wasn't working at all, I was just like, I don't know, let's hang out at your apartment's weird pool and drink. And he had Sega Channel. So
Ah.
so it was just like, let's hang out and play like these fucking 30 random Genesis games and drink beers and order pizza.
That's
And-
really
and-
sick.
That sounds
Yeah,
lovely.
it was a
I'm
fucking
jealous.
it was a pretty good summer. It was a pretty good
Wow.
summer.
It was
Uh,
expensive, right? Wasn't it really expensive?
Looks
it
like
was some
15 a
insane,
month.
yeah, it was some monthly
Oh, and
fee,
back in
you know,
90,
like on
that's a
top
lot.
of your cable.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
on
a
top
lot.
of your
15 a
cable
month,
subscription.
and there was like a $25 install fee.
Mm.
Which is weird, because
And
they
that's
just
like
sent you. Well, I guess they'd run the
90
cable.
That's $94.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
$94.
$94. That's
That's $1 million a month.
So
yeah.
inflation, yeah, it's like $500 a month.
Yeah. No, Sega Channel always seemed like it was just coming so late in the Genesis life cycle that it was just like, you're like, who cares about this thing? But you know, whatever.
I really like the
And it
logo
was-
dude they got going on. 'Cause he's just like holding up a TV in one hand, then holding a
Yeah.
controller in the other hand, but it's upside down.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's cute.
Yeah, he
Like-
looks like it looks like some Nickelodeon game show logo. Like,
Yeah. That's about right.
yeah.
So this got retired in '98, like the same day that
Dang.
like the Genesis was retired as a system.
Yeah. I imagine like
That
what
tracks.
cable networks were offering the Sega Channel in 98 and what other stuff had they not updated, and like just
Cool.
crazy. Real crazy.
It's cool,
This is
man.
a
This was
really
yeah.
nice
cool.
high res logo. I feel
So a
Nice.
bunch of Sega Channel assets and ROMs got out. Like someone found a CD somewhere that was like a backup of the Sega Channel archive, internal Sega stuff, and all that stuff got out online. But I don't think those half builds of Mortal Kombat 3 ever surfaced. It was all just first party stuff that leaked out. So,
Oh man.
those are out there somewhere. Last email from Grant. Everybody's focusing on the change Steam Deck might bring to the PC. Do you think Sony and Microsoft are looking at it and the Switch and drawing up plans? Obviously, with a later generation of that chip, considering it's the same architecture as their consoles. So RDNA 2, it's like, yeah, it's basically positing like, will there be a portable Xbox? Which I feel like people have been asking the question, will there be a portable Xbox for as long as there's been an Xbox?
I'm
No.
always on the fence about this.
I mean,
Yeah,
xCloud is the way around that, right?
Exactly. I think that's the
There's enough
Microsoft. I think
investment
Microsoft has
there, yeah.
already made its choice on
Yeah.
like, hey, we would rather just run on phones than make another weird bulky device. It's just not something that fits with their overall strategy, and I don't think it's something that makes sense on their roadmap at all.
Yeah, Sony's never really supported their existing portables well at all. So,
What makes
Yeah.
you think that would change? Exactly.
Yeah.
PSP was off to the races. Like the PSP was doing fine, and the bottom just dropped out of it at some point. And people point to the piracy as the reason, but I don't know if it's that clean and simple. I think it's Sony's approach has always been trying to bring console games to a portable, which was not always the best way to do it back then, because it was like, here's a port of this thing that looks like shit because we had to make it run on a PSP. If you could solve that problem, which is kind of what the Steam Deck is doing in some weird way, maybe that approach works a little bit better, but I don't know. I don't think it makes sense for Sony. I think that they would be better suited pushing into the streaming stuff and what can we do to run on phones, and you know, they've been expanding their mobile division in a way that makes you think like, if they were to get back into portable games, it would be, let's make mobile games.
Mhm.
And go that route. So I don't think it makes any sense anymore for that stuff to happen. All right, that's gonna do it for emails. Thanks everybody who wrote in. I've got all these emails flagged, so you know, we're chipping away at some of the backlogs. We had a couple of weeks there where there was just so many damn games coming out that we didn't get to any emails at all. So trying to get caught up, but keep sending them in too. Bombcast@giantbomb.com is the email address. And that's going to do it for this week's show. Tomorrow, Arcade Pit returns to Giant Bomb. Who is on this week?
That is Team Juice, I believe, and Team
correct.
Tam Rory.
Correct. It's the battle of the bottom.
New
the
alliances.
the
New
bottoms are
alliances
fighting.
must be forged and then broken, as Lucy and Tam are on opposite teams.
Yes, finally, we've pitted them against each other.
Yes.
Who knows what will happen? Tune in.
Yes. Check that out on Wednesday. Of course, we'll be back for UPF and all this other stuff going on. Still video games. We're going to have to look at this Stranger of Paradise thing at some point here.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
In greater depth. So
I'm vibrating just thinking about it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Me too.
I'm just going to go download it now, I think. I got to make this happen.
It's a fat download.
All right. Well, now that my controller vibrates properly, maybe I can enjoy it. Jeez.
Mhm. It's a lot of chaos to download.
Yeah. All right. Everybody have a great week. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Giant Bombcast. See you then. Bye.
Bye.